Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth. You have to go back to the roots. Go to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Thank you for joining me again today. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. So we're going to start this Saturday with what you're seeing right in front of you. Yes, today we're going to take the African test because it's come to my attention as usual. I was cruising down the YouTube streets, and as you know, I've mentioned it in my previous videos, and I know some of you are saying, oh, this guy is so ridiculous. He's talking about someone is not an African, the other person is an African. To me, it makes absolutely no difference to me. Let me make that clear. Because, you see, I see myself as a pioneer. What do I mean by that? From the time I was a little boy, I read Manifest Destiny. The story was very inspiring to be able to trek through a foreign land. It doesn't matter what the situation is, but you are able to overcome. That has absolutely nothing to do with race, color, creed, or whatever you want to base it off of. Because I am not going to be telling you anything that I don't know about or doesn't revolve around my life. You see the flag behind me? I'll tell you. I became an American consciously. I made an adult conscious decision. Okay? As a grown person, I mean, I was kind of a teenager, but came to America and I saw it. I was like, oh man, this place is wonderful. This is where I want to be. Then I did whatever it took to become an American. So in America, they allow you to be born again. I know some of you don't understand the importance of being an American because it was handed to you. You know, you take it for granted. It's not a big deal. But someone like me, I don't put myself in a group now. No one brought me to America. Let me make that clear. I didn't come here as a refugee. Like I said, as a pioneer. You know, they said this land, this is where the action is. You know, in this land, you can pursue happiness. And they really mean it. I saw it written, and I've seen people actually achieving these dreams, including myself. So, I know some have questioned if myself, I'm an African or not. Let me show you real proof. I mean, not that I'm satisfying you, but I'm showing you that I know what I'm talking about. I know the African side and I know the American side. Okay? So this is why I am the perfect individual to conduct this test. And later on, I'm going to drop the link in, and hopefully people would be brave enough to call in and take this African test. And my question to you is, what makes one an African? Because I want you to know that over 200 million of Africa's citizens are non-black. You talk about the North African countries. Some of the South African countries have white people. And in fact, today, this is what the discussion stems around, because this is a black American, quote unquote, checking a black South African for claiming to be an African. So we're going to dig deep today and find out what makes one that. Because see, most of my education, I got it from observation. I've always been a very observant kid. Let me show you a picture of me at a tender age. I think I was about 5 years old here. You see the look on my face, you would know this guy has always been about the action. Okay? Give me a second here. Let me find it. Yes, you see this picture here? That's a true African picture. This is me, my mother, my sister. You know, and this was in Sierra Leone. I think I was about 5 years old. So the reason why I actually brought this picture up, I still remember the day I took this picture. In fact, I was playing with the neighbor kid, you know, outside in front of our street in a town called Sefadu in Sierra Leone, 33 Dabunde Street. I still remember. I was playing with my childhood friend. His name was Ahmed. Ahmed is Lebanese. Why am I bringing this up? See, me and Ahmed were neighbors. We grew up together. We play around. So I see him as an African. He sees himself as an African, right? He doesn't know any place else but Africa, but of Lebanese descent. So we're going to talk about, does your descent make you an African, or you have to be born in Africa? But before we get into that, I am going to play an audio here that I'm going to add my own words to it. So there's a famous black American guy named Phil Scott on this YouTube streets here. He has a channel called the African Diaspora Channel. So this guy, he jumps on, you know, every case that is racial. As long as it's white people involved, it's along his lines. But we have to look at what is real and what is not real. So I'm about to play a news that Phil made. Okay? Give me a second. Let's see. Just bear with me here. Let me pull this up. So in this video, you're going to see a South African man talking about being an actual South African. So Phil is going to make a reaction video to this man saying that he is, in fact, a South African. So he's going to explain. The guy is going to explain to us what really makes him a South African.
In this video, and I say, oh no, he didn't post this video. So you have this, Boer. Those of you that watch us from South Africa, you know who the Boers are. Those are the Mzungu South Africans. And a lot of them, that walk around there have, some nerve in a lot of ways. But I want you to watch this video, and I want you to listen to what this guy has to say, and let's just have a conversation, right?
So Phil started out by letting us know there is a white South African, a Boer, as they are called. The guy made a video responding to this idea of, they're trying to promote that they're saying black Americans are Africans, not just, African descent, but actual Africans. So this guy has a problem with that, and he's going to give his reasons. Just listen.
I mean, because I actually like this video of what he's saying. Let's roll that clip.
I'm going to say this once and once only. I am a white African, born in South Africa. I speak 3 languages fluently: Afrikaans, an African dialect, English, and...
Okay, so the guy raised things that we would all agree would make one a native of whatever land they're claiming. He said he was born in South Africa. He speaks, 3 different languages, including Black African languages. So he sounds like a true African to me so far. Let's keep going.
I do understand some African native languages, and I can do better. I am more African than Beyonce, Eddie Murphy.
Okay, so he was born and raised in South Africa. His ancestors have been in South Africa over 400 years, a little over 400 years now, since around 1620. So he cannot get any African than that. Okay? Is he more African than Beyonce? Absolutely. Beyonce is not an African. You could say she has some African in her, but she is an American who is of African descent. So we are going to establish that. Let's keep on moving.
President Obama, they share African ancestry. They were not born here, especially Obama. In fact, it is very racist for people who say white people who've been born in Africa are not African.
The guy's got a point. He's got an absolute point. How can, Beyonce, Obama, and all these people try to claim being Africans when they were not born in Africa? He's correct. Obama became the president of the United States. If he were African, there's no way he could be the president of the United States. Like I said, I'm a citizen in the United States, but I cannot be a president. I'm not qualified to run for that office. Just like Obama is not qualified to run for office in Kenya, despite his father being a Kenyan. Yes, he can have citizenship, I believe, but that depends on what Kenya's laws are, but he can get that through his father, right? But you cannot question a person whose family have been in a place for over 4 or 5 generations. Let's keep going.
Okay? And by virtue of you saying that, you just show your own prejudice. African Americans who claim they are African are not.
So the guy said African Americans who are claiming to be Africans are not. So this is why I want people to call in to take their African test. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go take a DNA test. But that's the white man's DNA. You do realize that, right? So you're telling us don't trust the white man. Now, let's go past the paper and do it with an expert like myself, a true African expert. And I'm not going to mince the words. I'm not here to try to make you feel good or feel bad. I'm just going to conduct this test honestly. And I think I want us to reach a logical consensus here. I want us to learn something today before we leave this show. This man is speaking facts. Being an African doesn't depend on your skin color. Just like I said, over 200 million Africans they are not dark-skinned Africans. the North African countries, those are Africans. Egypt, Tunis, Libya, Morocco, all those countries. Even Sudan, you have Sudan. I mean, there's South Sudan. Those are dark-skinned Africans. But the other side are Arabs. And you have white people. If you watch the Olympics, you would see. You would see for yourself.
It's merely a virtue signaling so they can claim victimhood there over in America.
Now,
See, I talked about the victimhood, right? And this is the thing. Observation. People, we observe what is going on, right? So if you tell a story, you have to realize human beings are kicking back, just observing. And if too many people are saying the same thing, it must be correct, right?
believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the first time or the first person of his persuasion that have said something like.
So, Phil went for the man's skin color, started talking in codes to make it racial, someone of his persuasion. So, whenever you hear that's code word for he's honest, okay? If you're a black person, they would call you coon, sellout, and names, or traitor. In fact, my last video, I saw a guy that came there saying, oh, before you focus on this brother, I don't know who, but I think he was talking about go black to Africa. He said, Chinese are in Africa abusing people. Hey, I don't know what you're talking about, but the video you guys have been circulating, do you think I really care about that? I do not. Because first of all, if you are an African or whatever race you are, you should be, as a man, you should be able to defend yourself. If other men can just whoop on you, that's on you. That's not a representation of me. So telling me that you think that's going to hurt my feelings, I do not care. If any African is letting themselves get beat up, that's on them. Not my problem. Just as if I get my ass handed to me, it would be nobody's problem. You're responsible for yourself. No one is responsible for you. But they go around talking about this silly stuff to people, not wanting to hear things. They just call you names. But hey, I believe that the truth shall set you free. You cannot block this truth.
And even to me, one time I was on Facebook. I had posted a story maybe about a year or two ago. No, it was definitely 2 years ago, where you had a Mzungu go inside.
Mzungu meaning, so in Kenya, and I guess in Kenya especially, I think they call white people Mzungu. Just like in Gambia, we call white people Tubab. But you see, he is trying to make that word a negative thing, like a hateful word. But when we call white person Tubab, it doesn't mean anything negative. We're just saying white person, right? And if the white person says to me, Mofingo, which is black in Mandinka, I know I'm black, I'll accept that. But if a white person calls an American black, that's offensive to them. But it's the same group of people that come out and say, I'm black and proud. Which one is it? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, someone says East Africa. This is Africa. Yeah, so in East Africa, they call white people Mzungu. But it's not, he is trying to equate it to something negative. So it sounds like this man is really, really hurting inside, because there's a lot of things happening here in America, especially in black America, he could talk about. But he wants to fight about a foreign land that he has no right on. But let's listen to his take on this. Everything is going to be based on feelings. He's not talking about facts. Everything is based in feelings. And You'll see by the end of his commentary.
Of a bathroom and violate a child, and they had caught him and everything. And so I was saying that when Nelson Mandela and them took over, the greatest mistake they ever made was allow them to stay there.
Okay, so he said, what he's saying is, he says when Nelson Mandela took over, the greatest mistake they made was allowing the white man to stay. When I hear this type of talks, it makes me laugh. If white people are not in South Africa, the country is going to fall. Didn't you see what happened in Zimbabwe? When they, everybody started telling them, take the land from the whites, and they did it. They started starving. And we saw videos when the white people came back, the people were dancing, welcoming them. I know some of you are going to say, oh yeah, they sanction us. But you guys like talking about black excellence, right? Let me give you a little runaround in Africa. You talk about all this color thing in Africa if there's disaster, because some of you like to say, when there's disaster, guess who comes there to help the Africans? It's not, other Africans can't even help other Africans. Do you understand this? Other Africans can't even help other Africans. But since you are all up in your racial feelings, turning your back on the greatest country that was ever built on earth, that you acquired without even working hard for. Now you want to go talk about this white man in South Africa when he's just spitting facts to you. Let's listen to more.
Brokered a deal with the Netherlands to take their people back, because I know the white supremacists cannot live in peace with black folks like that. They just don't want to. They plotting it every day in South Africa how they can try to get power back and put the apartheid system back in. Even now in South Africa, the white supremacists still own a lot of.
So in the South African government, the black people are the ones that they are the majority in the government. There's white parliamentarians. So that should tell Mr. Phil here that this white man is actually an African, because he has representation in the House of Parliament in South Africa. The white man can vote in South Africa, not just any white man. Mind you, it's not just any white man. Do you think they're going to just allow, let's say, a white man to come from Germany today, just because he's white, they're going to let him vote in the South African election? Just as if you come to black African country, I guarantee you, some of you that are talking all this black mess, you do not understand Africa. I assure you, if you think you're truly African, even Ghana and all these places you are at, let the election come. Go and vote in their election. Force yourself. Sneak it. Say, I'm black, and vote. You are going to find out if you are an African or not. Even the South Africa you're talking about, go there and try that. You're going to find out it means nothing is about who is truly from that land. If you watch South Africa correctly, just like you wanted to talk about South Africa, let's say everything you see about South Africa, you see whites there. Why do you think South Africa is cooler, is much better, the economy, infrastructure, everything is better than other African countries? Why? It's because of the white people. Simple, straightforward. Because you see, the white people, okay, let's say, when you have skills, it doesn't matter what environment you find yourself in. You will be able to use those skills to be yourself. Because you, the individual, you are the X factor. You, the individual, the environment does not control you. You control the environment. Your thinking has to prevail. Okay? But let's say you look at the sub-Saharan African countries, where I come from, look at their condition versus South Africa. Or even in South Africa, majority South black area. Let's look at it. Even though there's no apartheid, people can go do whatever they want. Some are choosing to commit crimes. Just like here in America, there's opportunities everywhere. But you go to places where it's majority black, you go to places like Detroit, Baltimore, south side of Chicago. In fact, I have plenty of news that I'm going to be doing to bring for people to see. Because this is madness. Let's hear more of what Mr. Phil is going to say.
You know, land and black folks are dealing with issues and problems, even though black folks are the majority of the population. Now, I know I have, a few people who talk to me from South Africa say, hey, no, when they get out of pocket, they gonna get touched up out here. And I'm not saying I don't believe.
See, they always resort to violence, right? They go, okay. Why do you say things that you cannot do? Seriously. Who do you think is stopping the other white people who believe that black people should be extinct? It is not black people. It is not black countries, certainly. That's for sure. So when you're talking tough, you have to think about it. Just like here in America. You have like black people running around threatening white people, saying all this kind of stuff. That's because it's other white people that is behind you, putting the battery in your backpack to tell you to do that. If you notice us from Africa, because you guys like to say, oh, the Africans are cowards, blah, blah. We don't go instigating stuff because we know collectively we can't do anything to white people. Why would we even want to? Why would we? The whites, they came to South Africa. I mean, yes, the history is ugly, but you weren't there. I wasn't there. Apartheid, everybody agreed that is wrong. It's no longer the apartheid era. But you want to be stuck in the past. Oh, St. James, I will drop the link in a little bit. Let me first go through the video. So let us hear more of Mr. Phil here.
That, but let's talk about this. So I had this Mzungu female told me the exact same thing this man said in this video, that she was more.
So he is using this Mzungu on white people in terms of as an epithet, like a racial insult. But you do understand, if a white person does this, they would cry foul. Do you understand this? But okay, when people call this out, then you are the bad person. But you don't understand that people are looking at things. Not everybody's mind is corrupt. Not everybody is a victim. Not everyone has the victimhood mentality. People are observing what is going on. It's like you're looking to be a victim. It's like an addiction. Like, oh man, let me go through the internet. What, a white person is saying he's African? Oh hell, I gotta make a video about this. How can he be an African if he was born there? The only regret we have was Nelson Mandela should have kicked them out. Oh really? With what army? With what army? That's not how it works. So I hear people, they say, oh, people are skeptical of us black people because they think we're going to do to them as they did to us. But it's not the South Africa. You have nothing to do with the whites in South Africa. They didn't enslave you in America. They have absolutely nothing to do with you. Your history is not connected at all. But I understand. You look at, the history is sort of similar because I remember when South Africa was under white colonial rule, the apartheid system. Everybody, the musicians, all of us. At the time I was a kid in school, they would teach us about what is going on in South Africa. They would talk about it on the radio. They would sing about it in songs. African countries, some European countries, definitely the United States government was against the black Africans at the time. They supported the apartheid government. So black people worldwide, and other nations, we all came together and fought against that. And we toppled the apartheid regime. That's what happened. So now we move forward. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go to South Africa and pretend like I'm a South African. I mean, I'm not a South African. We help them to be liberated on their own land. That doesn't all of a sudden give me any right to these people's land. And if you ask me, or if you ask any other African who were against the apartheid system, and you say, oh, should they fight the white people and send them back to Europe? Or I can assure you that the majority are going to say no. They're going to say the white people have been there for so long. This is their home now. And which is true. Let's continue.
African than me. And I'm looking at this lily white woman tell me that she's more African than me. And so I asked her, I said, I was curious because I never heard that before. I said, well, how are you more African than me? Please explain that. Because
so he's in his feelings because a white person told him she's more African than him. Now he said, explain to me. Let's hear what the white woman's explanation is.
I was born here.
I was born here. You guys heard that, right? Okay. Check.
So? What is...
Okay. So imagine someone coming to this man, right, in America, and he says to them, I am an American. And they're like, how are you an American? Because I was born here. And the person replies, so how do you think that's going to go? How do you think that would go with him? It's not going to go well. So people, you have to understand, a human cannot give what they don't have. You can only give what you have, right? So this individual is obviously full with hatred and vindictiveness. He's going around looking to hate on white people. Okay, you're saying to an individual is telling you, I was born here. And then you're like, so being dismissive. But you are not the hateful person, right? You are not the racist person. You are not the one with the problem. The white woman is the problem. People, think about that for a minute. I want you to get out of your feelings and think about it logically. Logically. Get out of your racial feelings and get into your logical feelings and look at things clearly. You would see that this man is the hateful one. Because there's no reason for him to talk about this South African. There's no reason. But hey, the man lives in America. He has first world problems. You know, in Africa, I remember when I was growing up in Africa, we had actual problems. And every day we're looking to solve these problems. But you know, in America, things are so easy for most people that they have to actually go create their own problem to look for it. Like, if someone's saying, I'm African, hey, that's good. Good for you. Good for you. Why would anybody be upset by that? But because you hate white people. That's what this is about.
I mean, I said, you are a European. You're not an African. Period.
So the lady, if she was born in Africa, she is an African of European descent. Just like you, Mr. Phil, are an American of African descent. But like I said, hate blinds people. Let me give you something to, if you are not going to take anything I tell you, take this one to heart and remember it. You cannot trust an angry person. Here's why. An angry person, the moment they disagree with you or you disagree with them, they will turn on you. Right away. They will turn on you. And it is hard for an angry person to tell the truth. So he's been dismissive of this woman. When looking at that woman, he himself, his condition, is like he's looking at a mirror. He is someone who's of African descent in America, in a majority white country. A country created and built by white people. So it's a white European country. But this country has all types of people. Has people of African descent, people of Chinese descent, Japanese, Korean, you name it. Everybody is here. Everyone. The European, they are here too. But Phil is looking dead at his own situation. But because he has anger towards white people, because he hates white people, he can't even see his own answer. Let's allow him to say more.
Now, you heard this genius here say that he is more African than Eddie Murphy and Beyonce. And he also said that, someone that looked like me, a African American, Black American, that I am not African at all. Okay, sir, cool. I'm not African. Now, of course, you're going to have some silly Negroes that are going to try to rap.
You see how he's already putting up a defense. Because the man knows what he is saying doesn't make sense. So he's already filibustering, putting up a defense, because he knows his argument is illogical. It's based entirely in his feelings. Okay, let's say if we want to go by the real facts, like Phil has no connection, even his ancestors have no connection to South Africa. They're from West Africa. I know some are going to come and say, oh, these migrations, blah, blah. I can assure you, I don't know when, maybe this happened 1,000,000 years ago, but I have met people from South Africa. I have watched their videos. Our cultures are not even similar. Our languages are not the same. There's different types of Negroes. We have to also accept and realize and accept that. But how can this man's feelings be hurt? How can he allow his feelings to be hurt when you're a citizen of the greatest country on earth? You want to be an African so bad because you think you can rub it in white people's face. This is how childish this is. But there are a lot of people that think like him. That's why they watch it.
Lies. Oh, listen, I understand that culturally, I am Black American culturally. I'm happy to be.
Okay, he answered his own question. Culturally, I am Black American. No, Phil, you are a Black American. There's nothing wrong with being a Black American. You see, this is what people should know. Okay, if Black American if he's saying it and trying to qualify it, trying to distance himself from that, why do they expect other people who are not of that culture to want to be a part of it? They are the only group of people I know, not all, that I know. When you don't want to be a part of that culture, they get offended. People like us, we prevent people from trying to come into our culture. We protect our culture. Like you tell me, oh, I don't want nothing to do with your culture. I'll be like, oh, you made the right decision because you wasn't about to come in anyways. Simple. In my culture, let me tell you, I didn't make these rules. I was born and the rules were there. Okay? In my culture, this is what the laws are. They laid it out. It's a caste system. It's a caste system. So when people are talking, they don't even understand what African culture is. They say, oh, the white people came, they brainwashed the Africans in West Africa. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really? Yes. Their education system brainwashed some people who became greedy. But the majority, especially in Gambia, is different. Majority, they can't even read. There are, like when I was growing up, I know a lot of people who they've never even come in contact with a white person. Like they've never seen a white person. They don't understand anything about the European language. None of that. They don't know anything about that. So how would that have happened? It cannot. So in that caste system in my culture, for example, I'm of the nobility class, meaning the clan where I come from, we are in charge, we are the warriors and the intellectuals. And then eventually when our people became Muslims, we became the teachers. So that's a high place to hold. So someone of my class, even today, if I were to say I want to marry somebody, they would call it a lower class, in the slave class. The people in my culture, they would talk about it. They would, none of them would respect me. They would totally banish me. This is the mindset of the people. And I'm not telling you that. I'm not sitting here telling you I agree with this. Just like, when you're driving, like on the highway, there's a speed limit. They put a speed limit there. They say, if you cannot go beyond 60 miles an hour. Does that mean other people don't? Another rule is, for example, in my culture, me being a man, I can marry another woman from another culture or race. That is allowed because the children would become part of my tribe, and it meaning the woman would convert to the tribe. I'm telling you what the logic is, and this is what the people go by. That is allowed. But let's say a woman in my culture is not allowed to marry somebody from different culture at all. Not even about race. They are not allowed to do that. Does that mean they won't do it? There are, just like people break the speed limit, some will. But when you break the speed limit, there's repercussions. And this repercussion is not violence. They completely excommunicate you from the culture. You're completely excommunicated. So this is why when people are saying, I am African, I am this, these Africans don't want to mix with us. Do you want to learn? Do you truly want to learn? Because if you say, I am an African, now you're leaving European culture to come to African culture. So when you criticize that African culture, now you've learned something. You are saying, man, the European culture is much more freer and more attractive. When you say, I'm going to change this African culture, mind you, you are taught by the Europeans. You've lived with the Europeans for hundreds of years. So it's the European teaching that you know. So now when you come, you're going to compare what you know from the Europeans. and what you see the Africans doing. And you're not going to want to say it, but you know the European way of doing things is superior. This is why people run around saying white supremacy, because deep down subconsciously you hate that. Unlike people like me, I'm fascinated by it. I'm a builder. I like building. I watch and learn. I improvise. You look at China, you're not going to hear that Chinese people, they don't invent anything. It's all innovation. They steal their ideas from America. Japan, name a Japanese inventor. Name one. They don't invent things. Even all that technology era, all that is stolen from America. They buy stuff from America, and then they learn how to change it, even including vehicles. Name the Henry Ford equivalent, the Japanese Henry Ford. Name one. It's all from the West. So, that's what human beings are all about. When somebody has certain skills, you don't hate on them. If you want to do better, you just learn. You watch and learn. And pretty soon, you'll be better. But pretending like you got it is just going to turn you into a hater. It's going to turn you into an entitled individual. And people are going to look at you like a fool.
Black American culturally, because I look at that as part of the ethnic groups within the diaspora. Our ethnic group is just as important as someone's, ethnic group that could be from South Africa or Nigeria.
All right. See, what he doesn't realize, everybody, we are actually shocked when we hear black people talk about being victim, because you have to know the white people even do you guys a solid. They do you a favor, because what they show on TV, they show that you guys are nice, great. But when we come in contact, I'm not saying all, but most people are disappointed. They're like, because they see you running around saying black excellence, or saying we did this, we built this, we built that. But we just hear we build this, we build this. Trust me, in Africa, even in Gambia, I know Gambians who talk just like these same black people here on YouTube. They sit under the mango tree and blow smoke in the air. I hear it all the time. But the difference is, with the people there in Gambia, when they see the opportunity, they are not fooling themselves. They hop on it and they take it running. And the other difference is, these people, they don't hate white people. They're just looking for opportunity. But you're standing over there looking at someone saying, oh, how dare this guy, is friendly with the white people. Hey, if you are not friendly with the white people, good riddance to you, more power to you. Move on with your life. Move on with your life. But why do you want to call other people names? Because they are seeing how ridiculous you are, how illogical and emotional you are. Let's see more.
Or, Ghana or etc., right? I believe we all important and we all bring great things to the table. We do, right? But let's just talk about a few things. Number one, we can do a nature test with me and you, guy.
All right. He's going to do a nature test. People, I want you to listen to his nature test versus the test I'm going to be giving here. This man is about to give a nature test. If I had never heard of Socrates, the smart Greek guy from 3,000 years ago, I would have said, this man is Socrates 2.0. I would have said that. But let's hear what Mr. Socrates 2.0, so I will still call him that. Let's hear his logic and let him give us his nature tests and his scientific tests.
What we could do, I can even do it. Listen, I can come out there, go to the beach. And look, we'll make sure before we go to the beach.
Go to the beach. They're going to go to the beach. Beginning of the test. Yes, let's hear the rest of it.
We'll take a shower, and we'll put on deodorant.
Okay. All right. Okay, where's this going? They're gonna go to the beach, take a shower, and now he's talking about deodorant. What? Okay, Phil, what is going on? You want to take shower with the white man on the beach and deodorant? What is going on here? Let's hear more, of this. They're gonna take a shower, deodorant. Hopefully they use cocoa butter or coconut oil to lotion themselves. Let's hear this.
Of course, but we're not gonna put on no lotion, no nothing for that day.
I missed it. Woo! How wrong? I am so wrong. So Phil, okay, they are going to take a shower. Of course, they're going to put deodorant on, but no lotion. Where is this going? This is the nature test. I don't know, man, because even me, I'm black, but man, I gotta lotion myself, man, when I shower, man. So this is Africa. Yeah, I know exactly where he's going.
Ashy for a day, and we will stay at the beach.
He said they are going to be ashy for a day. Let me give you a quick story. Let me give you a quick story about being ashy. Back in the days, my son, when he was 5, like when he takes showers, he didn't like, using a lotion. So I have to keep reminding him. So I came up with a story. I told him that there was a guy named Larry, but everyone called him Ashy Larry. He's like, wow. I said, Ashy Larry, you know what happened to Ashy Larry? I said, Ashy Larry ended up in a hospital because he didn't like using lotion. But I changed his mind. But I thought I was just making up something, right? So I told you guys before, I worked in a prison. So in the prison, they have hospitals. So one time I was working in this segregation area, which they call the hall. So the inmates, they can put in requests to go see the prison doctor and stuff like that. So this inmate, he put in a request for us, to the doctor. So we went up to his cell, gave him the, orange jumpsuit. He comes to the cuff board, on the cell door, we call it the cuff board, puts his hand out and we handcuff him, the whole 9 yards. So this is why I was telling you guys, anyone that lets his get beat up by anyone, Chinese, Japanese, or whatever, that's on you. Whether you African, I don't care about that. That's on you. I come prepared at all times. I'm not about to let anyone whoop my ass. Whether you Chinese, Japanese, white, you Avatar, Korean, I don't care. I don't care how cool you are. I'm not about to let you whoop my ass. That's where I draw the line. Okay? So we took this guy to the doctor. Me and another officer, we escorted him. We went there, walking with the chains. We got there. So the guy sits in the chair and he's giving his reasons why he came to see the doctor. Believe it or not, it blew my mind. He told the doctor he came to the doctor because of his ashy skin. He thinks something is happening to him. But I realized, hey, this guy, he's just tired of being in his cell. He wanted to come out there. And the doctor just prescribed and gave him Vaseline. That was the quickest checkup ever. The doctor gave him Vaseline and we took him right back to his cell. But now, I think Phil is preventing the white man from using sun lotion. That's why he said no lotion. But Phil, you have to remember, the white people, especially the Boers, these are not your regular Western white man you're used to. Be careful what you ask for. These people are pretty rugged. I don't even think these Boers, they need, sun lotion. So these are not like your snowflakey white people from, what is it called? England, Sweden. No. These are rugged white people. This is why they call them the Boers. So I don't know if I would, try to challenge them on environmental toughness. But let's hear more of Phil.
All day and just bake in the sun. And all day, we will pick the hottest day that we can in South Africa to do this. And I want to see after all that.
Look, I remember when I was in Africa as a kid, man, in Gambia, it gets so hot and humid, right? Hey, I know we're typical Africans, okay? But I'm telling you, there are times, especially in the middle of the day, you are not going to see anybody walking in the streets. Suddenly not the Africans. Mostly, the people you see walking on that beach is actually the white people. Because they paid specific, they bought tickets, booked hotels just for that sun. It used to blow our minds. We're like, you want this? I'm telling you, like, when it's past noon, we're all sitting under the mango tree or the neem tree. That gives you that cool, natural breeze. Everyone is sitting under that. So, by looking at Phil, because Phil says he's African, I would consider him an oversized African, being of the oversized African tribe. Like how Pan-Africanism strikes back. That's why I put this video here, this picture here, because she is going to belong to the oversized African tribe too. Isn't that a good name? The oversized African tribesman. That could be a new tribe.
Sun that we'll take in, which one of us would just soak up the sun and get darker, and which one of us could get second and third degree burns? I just want to know.
Look, this is simple. A lot of people watch Phil. He doesn't have to go all the way to South Africa. He doesn't have to do that. I've seen his videos. He said he lives in Texas, in Houston, to be specific. I have been to Houston before. Okay? I've been to Houston and it was hot. And they told me that wasn't even the hottest day. I couldn't stand the heat. So what he should do is take the hottest day in Houston and go do this test. Have people record it. He's going to go stand under that sun. We make sure he grabs a newspaper. Is going to be a live thing. Get a newspaper for that day. And show us on camera that this is today. This is the newspaper. And we will confirm online what the temperature is in Houston. So he can do that live. And we would have this white man, whether he's in maybe he's in South Africa. We would have this white man do the same thing. But I guarantee you, since he's a real African, this would sound silly to him. And I wouldn't blame him. Why would I? Because if someone says that to me, I'll be like, you're silly. What's wrong with you? Why would I want to go stand in the sun to prove that I'm an African?
And maybe whoever want to do that, maybe that person that gets darker and just soaks up all that great vitamin D from the sun.
It's funny how, you're going to go stand in the hot South African sun. And who's going to soak up all that vitamin D? This guy is so silly. Vitamin D? Look, with the white people, they made acquiring vitamin D easy. If you can't get the sun, go to Costco. Get you your vitamin doses. You'll be just fine. It's not the same thing, but close.
Child of the sun, that person will be proven as an African. You want to?
So, he is going to do this naked test in the sun with the white man, no lotion. So whoever isn't burnt is the true son, is from the sun, it's an African son. Okay, let me tell you something. Myself right here talking to you. I went to Vegas a couple years ago. It was like in it was in the month of May. So I'm walking around with my tank top, going up and down the street, looking all good, looking sexy. Wherever I walk by, especially the black women, they're like, oh my God, he looks so good. Are you even African? So I'm walking up and down. Next thing I know, I got sunburn. It was so hot over there. See, the part of the United States where I live, I only get 6 months of sun. So I had the sun burned my skin. Does that mean I am not African all of a sudden? No, you can get more African than me. I've seen white people just walking around in that Vegas sun. The sun didn't do anything to them because they are from Vegas. They're used to that. But I wasn't used to it because I have been away from Africa for so long. Even when I was in Africa, right? I'll tell you this. When I was a kid, my school is about 30 miles away from my home. So, like, I would catch the school bus. The way our school bus works is, man, it's the wild, wild west. Okay? I'm telling you. The school bus would come, is the big German man buses, and we would all scramble. People would climb through the windows, like I'm talking, scrambling for the seats. That's how it used to go. But if the bus is full, guess what? You got to figure out how to get home. So now you're a kid, you got to find out how to get back home. So I'm not there crying in the hot African sun. I would hitchhike. So I would, I would hop on cars, taking me from step to. But when I'm walking, I remember sometimes it would get so hot. When I see a supermarket, some of the supermarkets set up by the Lebanese people, God bless their soul. Man, I would walk in and pretend like I'm going to buy something just to cool off. I would be walking around. I would go especially in the freezer sections just to cool off. You see what I'm saying? Like I was in there feeling slighted. I just figured out, hey, look, I'm just going to go in here. Because you see, I was going to a Christian school. At the time, I looked kind of preppy. So people, you look at me, you trust me. You don't think this kid is just gonna walk around, he's not gonna buy anything. But that's what I would do. Until the African security guard, start walking around and asking, hey, you've been here long, are you gonna buy anything? Then I'll leave. Straight up hating on me, trying to cool off. But let's continue here.
Science. Let's go science. We could take ancestry, not even ancestry, let's not throw that one out. Let's take African ancestry. That's what I meant to say. African ancestry test. Let me and you take it. And
so, his science test, the nature test, he failed it. It didn't make sense. Now, his science test, he's all over the place, right? So, he himself, he's going to walk right into the answer. And as he's going, he's realizing, oh man, I'm so illogical. What I'm saying here, this doesn't make any sense. So he starts stumbling all over the place. Listen to this.
you can swab your master clan, I do mine. and let's see what comes back.
So they're just going to take they're going to take their swabs from, like Mr. Phil said, and they're going to send it to the lab in Timbuktu. Timbuktu, right? Wait. All right. I'm getting an information that Timbuktu doesn't have any lab. They are going to send it to the white man, the white man's lab, the same white man that Mr. Phil doesn't trust, and he's told us not to trust. He's told us the white man is wicked. So he's going to, because he's already told us not to trust the white man. And you know, us Africans, we don't know any better. We got to get our information from him. So I trusted it. So now, as far as I'm concerned, if this test is not being done by Sheikh Ahmedi down there in Timbuktu, I don't believe it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. This is why we have to do the actual African test. So it doesn't matter if you're white, black, blue, green, avatar, but you believe you're an African. Call in. I'm going to drop the link in a minute. Just stay tight. Let's finish this video.
Let's see if you are an African. Because science not going to back that up. Even if you took ancestry DNA, their test is not going, we all know it's going to come back. Why are you so delusional and still trying to colonize that land?
So, the delusional man is calling another man delusional. This man just gave you his reasons why he's more African than Beyonce, Eddie Murphy, Barack Obama, who else? Pan-Africanism strikes back. So this is why, look, I'm not taking sides. I am not here to say, hey, I'm just telling it like it is. So, but I'm also allowing you to defend yourself. This is why I want people to take this test, because I don't want you to come back and say, oh, Afridamos is biased. He's a coon. He's a bootlicker. He's all these things. No, you will come in front of the audience. You take the test. You know, you don't have to send me swabs. I would ask a few questions, and you're going to answer those questions. And we're not going to do it the white man's way, you know, to give you point system. We would do it the African way. I will tell you the answer right now, because we like getting things right now. Instant gratification. That's right. We like it right now. So I will give you the answer right this minute.
See, Robert Mugabe, the great Robert Mugabe, he had it right. He ran the white supremacists out of it.
Yeah, Mugabe had it right. He ran the economy to the ground, and he got kicked out, but he got it right. Sure.
He changed the name from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe.
Okay, that's all fine and dandy. We know he did that. We also, we know that he toppled Ian Smith, the government of Ian Smith. We know he did all that. But we also know he ran their economy to the ground. But he's saying Mugabe got it right. I am not a Zimbabwean, but I have mentioned Mugabe's name in front of some Zimbabwe lady. I would never do that again. She was livid. She told me, she's like, Mugabe kill armed people. She said she's from, I think, not Matabele, I think, Debele tribe. She said she's from Debele tribe. And Mugabe goes after them. So, but I bet you Phil will call that lady a coon for opposing Mugabe. But hey, it's okay for Mugabe to kill her people. Right?
Because our brother knew better. He knew that the white supremacists...
So, you understand. He said Mugabe is his brother. Let's find out what makes Mugabe his brother.
Will come back. Now you may say, well, look at Zimbabwe today. Never let them tell you that, because Zimbabwe was fine after that. Zimbabwe was fine for a long time. Even, Robert Mugabe.
Zimbabwe was fine, 1980, because the white people were the farmers, I realized, because, look, I don't live in this fantasy world. I live in reality. Look, myself here, I'm a farmer. I grew up farming, It's not our entire thing, but we live in a compound, and when the rainy season comes, we plant corn, groundnut, pumpkins. So I'm a farmer. I would spend days, we would go into the bush, to help. We would go in the bush to do the monkey hunting, to drive the monkeys away. I have done shepherd work. I have, this is all at a young age. I have gone in the bush to hunt for animals, okay? So you cannot get more African than me. So you would have to come take this test right here. So what Phil is talking about, Robert Mugabe, yeah, the place was fine when he was cool with the white people. But we talk about black excellence, right? He's going to say, oh yeah, the white people sanctioned him. Fine. But we have 54 countries in Africa. I mean, Sudan was in there back then, but we have 54 other countries. What happened to the black excellence? What happened to that? It's not there. It's illusion. Okay?
We used to go up there with the Queen all the time, right? Highly educated brother.
Yeah. My grandfather met the Queen of England several times. He served in the British Army, in the West African contingent in the Second World War. He fought, to help liberate the world from fascism. He fought in Southeast Asia, in Burma, to help the British Empire. Because people are going to come and say, oh, why was he helping the British Empire? Let me tell you how my grandfather ended up going to war. When Second World War came around, they were doing the draft. They were having people do the draft. But since the British at the time colonized Gambia, mind you, the way the white people colonized that place, it wasn't like the place was like so peaceful. Everybody was cool. There was wars going on. They had complete control of Gambia in 1901. They had the Jihadi War. They had a man named Fode Kaba Doumbouya who was waging the Jihadi War. He's a Muslim who was fighting Africans the other tribes who practice native African religion. And at the time also the British were trying to control the place administratively. At the time they were in Banjul and Makati Island, but they couldn't reach, the hinterlands. They used to call those the protectorates. That's where the action was at. So we are from the hinterland. My grandfather or people, that's where we're from. So there were wars over there. But now, eventually the British were able to have control and stop these wars. So this rolled on. They had control completely in 1901. 1901. To be able to establish that territory that you call Gambia today, for it to see itself as completely one. But now you have all this, like in my tribe, like I said, we are a warrior people. There used to be these wars. But when the British took over, now there is no more wars. So the Second World War, at the time my grandfather was 17, 18, he had to go represent the clan. He had to be battle tested. So this was the opportunity for him to go and get battle tested, not just by talking. So he went there in the service to quell evil, but to also establish, to prove that we still have the warrior mentality. It is to send the message to those who think we still ain't got it. So he went and proved himself to a point where he had ranks. At the time, he didn't even know English, but he taught himself English, and yeah.
The United States and the European Union conspired against Zimbabwe to put sanctions on that small African country to where they can't get loans, they can't do certain kind of business, because this is the way it works. When they put sanctions on them, they say if you try to do business.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Mr. Phil was talking all this stuff saying Zimbabwe was fine, blah, blah, blah. But now he's blaming the white man. So, okay, you're telling me you're going to talk all this stuff to white people, tell them how much you hate them, but then turn around and say, oh, they didn't give me loans. That's what a child does. Just like if my child starts talking smack and telling me how wonderful he's got it, he's out of here. If you think you can do it better than me, hey, boy, go and do you. Okay? That's what it is. But you do not beg. You do not complain. You do not beg the person that you complain about. That's not how it works. You do not look for loans. You should do it yourself. What's going on?
Give loans to Zimbabwe, we'll put sanctions on you too. So basically they cut them off from the financial system and strain them and having it crashing their economy and just basically starving them out. That isn't right. But you're supposed to be so-called a Christian.
But you see, he's over here promoting Robert Mugabe, who was living lavishly, a corrupt government, taken away from Zimbabweans themselves. But he's here bigging him up. Okay, did he do good, as a liberation leader, freeing them from white colonial rule? Yes, he did great. But that doesn't mean he didn't also destroy the country with his policies. He did all that. We have to talk about all that. Let me see. He said, was your grandfather on the wrong side of history? Why did he fight for the colonial powers? My grandfather wasn't on the wrong side of history. My grandfather was on the right side of history. Imagine where you and I would be, if Nazi Germany and the Japanese fascists with the Italians had prevailed. What do you think would have happened? And you know what great thing happened after 1945 too? When my grandfather and others went to Second World War, when they got back, they freed us from white colonial rule. Because if you look at it, my grandfather grew up in the hinterland. He didn't know anything about white people. So he had to come to the city, when they heard about this war is going on. So he has to go get battle tested. So think about that. We have at the time, Hitler and the Japanese, go back and read what would have happened if they had, taken over.
Nation, and that's what you go do for people that got themselves free from white supremacist colonization and terrorism. How dare they get themselves free? So let's go on and try to break the will of the people in Zimbabwe. They're still suffering to this day.
No, it is not the people. See, when you're speaking, that's the problem. He wants to speak on the politics. He's speaking on the politics. Okay? Robert Mugabe was holding the people hostage. That's proven. As you saw how the people were dancing when he was removed. You have to differentiate between Robert Mugabe's will, what he wants, and what the people want. There's a difference.
But still, no matter what, even if they suffered, Mugabe had it right. Nelson Mandela, great man as he was, Nelson Mandela was a head buster when he was young, that's for sure. But the greatest mistake Mandela made was not brokering the deal with the Netherlands to take their people back.
So Nelson Mandela, who fought all those years, he said he preferred the young Mandela, the one that was blowing up buildings. That's the one he preferred, right? And he doesn't understand anything about the politics of South Africa. He is thinking that Mandela in 1994, mind you, this is the white people have been in South Africa, the Boers especially have been in South Africa at the time, or at least over 200 years. So Mandela is going to take them and send them to the Netherlands. Are you kidding me? Look, the story of South Africa is not pretty, nor does other places. Even Ghana that you talk about. Let's talk about the Ashantis. This present day Ghana that you see, this present day Ghana, who do you think conquered that place all the way to Kumasi? Go read the Inquisition of the Ashantis. When the Ashantis were walking through conquering Ghana, that's when they sent most people into slavery. Maybe your ancestors even. They conquered Ghana. This is why Ghana is it's easy. They say, here, you can come back and get land because your ancestors were forcefully removed from that land. And the people the group that conquered that land are still in power. So they have to feel bad that a lot of these people, their ancestors, we were powerful than them. We conquered them and sold them to foreigners. So we have to allow them to come back. That's understandable. Okay? But now, if you say, I'm going to go to Ghana, I'm going to take the land from the Ashantis, there's no proof that you are even from Ghana, to be honest. You're all over, you're from West Africa. This is facts. Nobody can deny that. Your lineage is from West Africa. This white man, his lineage is from the Netherlands. But he himself, he's South African. If that man goes to the Netherlands, he would have to get a work permit to be able to work. They're not just going to be like, Mr. Boostroff, welcome back to the Netherlands. Here is a job for you. No, that's not what's going to happen. And he's not about to do that because guess what? He's got freedom and land in his homeland in South Africa. Why would he leave it to go be a stranger in another land just because they're all the same skin color? For example, why would I leave my country and go to some African country if we don't have anything in common? I wouldn't do that. Like if it's a French speaking, it'll be hard for me to live there because, my French is not that on point. You feel me? Let's continue.
That's his bottom line. The second mistake he made, he didn't transfer that wealth from them to the indigenous people of that country. That's the second mistake that he made. I understand that what he was trying to do, I get it, but just in hindsight now, that was just some of the greatest mistakes that our brother made at that time period. But you have them that in South Africa that feel like they're more African. The question I have is, why are you bringing us up? Like, we didn't even mention in that.
Okay, so he's saying, why are you bringing us up? But, dude, did you not see the theme little quote-unquote movie or documentary that they were trying to push? Beyonce talking about she's African, and then she did that Luciferian thing, calling it African culture. So you understand there's like these people, they have an agenda. Just like they have this agenda they are pushing here in America. They are using race, using especially black people, to silence white people because like you look at on American TV, especially, right? They mostly right now, you go to every channel is black not only black, but a woman, not mostly black men. If they are men, they would have to be a homosexual. I have noticed that. So you look at, they feel like they have this agenda they want to promote. So Beyonce is coming out talking about she's African so that African people can say, oh, she's a superstar. We embrace her. No. That's not how it works. We are seeing the degeneracy that is coming. So this white man is speaking about his own right. He's speaking about a land that his ancestors, they fought for, they spilled their blood, they sacrificed. You might not like who they went against and won, but they fought a war. Just like the Ashantis fought the war and conquered Ghana before the British came, but, and eventually, conquered them too. But the Ashantis, it's not different than the Ashantis. It's no different than how the Mali Empire was formed, the Songhai Empire, or the Ghana Empire, the first Ghana Empire, not the Gold Coast. You guys do realize there were several empires in West Africa. And these empires were not built or created by people going, giving ice creams to each other, giving hugs and kisses to each other. That's not how they were formed. These empires, I can tell you stories because I grew up, like I said, with oral history, stories. In the evenings, we sit around, we light the fire because I didn't grow up with electricity. Okay? We light, fire in the yard, we sit around, and that's story time. We learn about our history. And at the same time, me being sent to school was to go learn about what the white man is talking about. It's not to go become the white man. Okay? It's to learn so that I can understand the world, which is what I used. But trust me, don't get me wrong. There are Africans who, they think school, going to like white people's school is to be white. I see that here even in America. So I don't want people to confuse it and say it's only black Americans I'm talking about. I see the African side too. Trust me, I'll hit on that as well.
Having that debate with you, but you're bringing up black Americans. No, I know what it is. You're threatened by us. You're threatened by us. Because if we come to South Africa in large numbers, all them little stunts that you pull over there, that's going to be a wrap. Because one group of Africans.
So now he's showing a threat. He said, wait till we come there. Okay, you're going to go there, and what are you going to do? So you've never wanted, when it comes to building South Africa, you have no interest in it. But now you want to go cause drama in South Africa, as if South Africa doesn't have enough drama as it is. As if, if you're looking for drama, you don't have to fly to South Africa. That, I can promise you that, and you know it. Even right there in Texas where you at. You know the zones. You can just go there and film things for us. We got Detroit. We got Baltimore. Even like New York is hot right now. Even places like Seattle. Let me tell you people, when you go to any major American city, the places you need to avoid, let me tell you, the streets. If it's Martin Luther King Jr. Street and it's in the South End, it's hot. Seriously, it's hot. At these places, you don't want to live there. You don't even want to stop for gas. And I'm going to show you proof for this. The only way you want to live there or stop for gas, look around. If you see white women jogging with their dogs, then it's safe for you to do so. It means it's a safe place. I just saw a video in Detroit. Some guy, black guy, he won $30,000 in the lotto. So he takes $20,000 of the $30,000 and bought a chain. He wears this chain and goes to this gas station getting stuff. You can see this all on camera. I'll bring it here. And next thing you know, a couple of black guys come in. I guess they were just, checking out, scoping the place to see what's going on. And this guy, like I said, he's from the oversized tribesman tribe. He's part of the oversized tribesmen. He goes to pump the gas, and this guy started trying to attack him. He runs. He runs all the way. He literally was crawling into the door of the little convenience store there at the gas station. No one helped him. Nothing happened. They just beat on him and took the gold chain. He made a bad investment, but did he deserve to get robbed? He didn't deserve to get robbed. But I don't see people here that are talking about the Chinese was beating this African guy. They exaggerated it. I watched the video clearly. Yeah, the Chinese took up a stick, but it's not like he was whooping this guy's behind. That's not what happened. The Chinese came up to him, hit his file out of his hand, and the African guy kicks him. You could clearly see the African guy is bigger, the Sierra Leonean guy is bigger than the Chinese. So, what is natural? There's Chinese people there, there's the Sierra Leoneans there. These are all men. And they handled it like men. This beef is between that Chinese dude and the one Sierra Leonean guy. The Chinese didn't get involved, the Sierra Leonean guy didn't get involved. The Chinese guy picks up a stick, as we would expect. If two dudes are fighting, if one is bigger than the other, the little guy is going to find a weapon. He chases this guy and they jumped in between them. I didn't see where he had the chance to hit this guy. But they're like, oh, you're talking about this, but the Chinese is over there whooping, Africans' ass. You ain't saying nothing about that. As if that's going to hurt my feelings. And I make this clear. Any African, or whoever you are, you allow a Chinese, Japanese, whoever, they come to your country, or you guys met. For me personally, I don't care. We could meet in space. You could be a native of space. I'll respect you, but you ain't about to whoop my ass. That's for damn sure. I make that clear. I'm not about to do that victimhood thing for you to say, oh, he's Chinese. That means, so you people are looking at Chinese as superior also? You have to be a victim to everyone. I can assure you, that Sierra Leonean guy, if he were really, for example, if he got whooped by that Chinese guy, there was no way he would go in his neighborhood and let people know that. I can assure you that. He is not about to tell people, oh, today I got beat up by a Chinese guy. People are going to make fun of him. They're not going to respect him. They are not going to respect him. So the people that, you telling me to try to embarrass, thinking I'm going to be embarrassed, I'm just going to laugh. Let me see. I want to take the African test. Oh, yeah, we'll be there. We got a few minutes. I'm going to drop the link in. Give me a second here. We're about to get to the test.
That relate the most to Black Americans is South Africans. Because you know what? We share the same exact history with you. The same exact history of white supremacist terrorism. We share it. We call it Jim Crow and slavery and all that. You had colonization and apartheid. Same thing. Different continent, same devil. So we understand that. And we get along very well, South Africa.
I don't think he can relate to South Africans like that. Maybe if he's speaking facts on crimes, sure. But come on now, let's be real.
And Black Americans. And you don't want that.
In a way, he's right. They face kind of similar situation, but also different.
Cause dissension. See, brothers and sisters, sometimes even certain accounts that come there trolling and acting like they're Africans. A lot of times I found out some of them are not even Africans. They even have some of them that's straight Mzungus that's coming in conversations with.
So we've established, let's establish that Africa does have white people. So this is what Phil was saying.
Black Americans,
So let's hear him
Caribbeans,
more.
Africans, and trying to cause dissent because they don't want us unifying at all because they are so threatened by the unification of black folks worldwide. They need black folks to live. I'm gonna read that again. They need black folks. They have never.
Okay, so now Phil is just rambling. Now I'm gonna drop the link in, and we're gonna take the African test. So bear with me here. All right. I just dropped the link in. People, hit that link. Come on in and take your I am an African test. And be patient, people. This is nothing about feelings. We all want to understand each other about what is going on. So Phil challenged the white man about who's an African. So the white man laid his position, and I think we can agree that he's an African. Oh, here we got. Okay, fellas, give me just 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm going to bring in Nakmizi first. African millennial, give me 1 second. Let me. Here. All right. So we have Nakmizi and we have African millennial. Can you both hear me?
Yes, sir.
African millennial, you can hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk to Nakmizi first, and then I'll get to African millennial. Mr. Nakmizi, how are you doing today, sir?
Hello, sir. I'm doing great. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, Mr. Nakmizi, the first question to you is, where were you born?
Wait, hold on. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail on purpose. I'm not an African. I'm a proud black American. My people came from Africa, maybe 500, starting at about almost 500 years ago.
Right.
We are a different people, different culture, different everything, even different phenotypes and different admixtures that you don't find on the continent of Africa. So I'm sorry, but I failed the test before I even looked at the paper.
Oh, okay. Nakmizi is not an African, and he's made that clear. So,
But what am I, though? I'm of African descent.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're of African descent. So you would agree with my description of what Phil is also, right? Of African descent.
Well, yeah, if you said, I came in a little late, if you said Phil is of African descent, then you're right. There's a difference between being a descendant of Africans and an actual African.
Right.
Now, what Phil was trying to say was like the DNA thing. Look, the DNA thing, he has some legs, but then we'd have to separate this conversation from a biological, a geographical, and then a cultural.
Right.
Culturally, he ain't African.
Right.
Geographically, he ain't African.
Right.
Biologically, and the eyeball test, we would have popped him into a Hausa region of northern Nigeria. He'd blend in. Although a Hausa that eats too much, he'd still blend in phenotypically.
Right. This is true. And I agree with you on that. So, African millennial, are you ready? Give me a second.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So, African millennial, where are you from?
So I was born in GH, Ghana.
Where?
Ghana.
Ghana. All right. Born and raised?
Yeah. Well,
All right. So,
yes.
all right. So you've passed the first part of the test. Do you consider yourself an African?
Yes, I do.
All right. My next question is, what would you So if is being an African based on skin color, or
So, go on.
is it based on skin color, or you have to be born and raised in an African country?
Being African has nothing to do with skin color. In fact, if that's the case, then Afrikaners would be African. I don't see them as African, right? I know I'm not from South Africa, but I don't see Afrikaners as African.
And why is that?
Actually, wait. They are African, but they're not. But what I'll say is being African has nothing to do with your skin color. To me, it's how culturally you are and the way that you were raised.
So you've said two things here. You said an Afrikaner, which is the Boer, right?
Yeah.
Do you agree that they are African? They are more African than a person, a Black American?
Ooh. I'd say
No. Listen to my question again.
All right.
Okay. A Boer, like that video I showed, right? The man is saying he was born and raised in South Africa. They've been there for generations. They're of European descent. So he's saying he's more African than a Black American. Somebody of African descent, which he confirmed, but born and raised in America and been here for generations. He said he's more African than them. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree.
Why not?
I only don't agree with that because an Afrikaner still has their Dutch culture.
So
They still have a connection to homeland, their homeland.
No, they do not. They cannot go to the Netherlands and make any claim there. They don't have any claim to that country. They've been in South Africa since 1620. So that's a long time. That's a long time now. Yes, you could say they are. If you say you agree that they are African, but of European descent, do you know that white people can vote in South Africa? They have their representatives.
Yes.
So how can you then say an Afrikaner is not an African?
They're African by nationality and maybe by their passport, but I still think they're hybrid, like they're a mix of African and Dutch. Maybe
Okay.
they're their own
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you another question. You're from Ghana, right?
Yeah.
In Ghana, is every Ghanaian citizen a dark-skinned African?
Nope.
And do you accept the non-dark-skinned African Ghanaians? Do you accept them as Ghanaians?
Yes.
So why can't you accept Boers who have been in South Africa for almost, going on 500 years now?
I don't know.
Okay. Now we'll bring in St. James.
I'll take this one. Let me take that one. Let me take that one before you bring St. James in, please.
Okay.
I'll explain why.
Why?
All right. The same way how I'm in Holland right now, right? This is Holland, nothing but a bunch of white people around me. There's a difference between being born here as a black person. You would be a Nederlander, right? Of the Netherlands. Your passport, your nationality is Nederlander. But you will never be a Hollander. And a Hollander is the indigenous people of Holland.
Right.
Okay? So a Boer, whose people went there at the behest of the East India Company, a.k.a. the VOC in 1651, I believe, went there really just to set up a sort of trading colony or refillment place as they were going to Indonesia. They were called the Voortrekkers. So they went there and then they decided to stay as pioneers. So before 1650, they're not there. So they are not original or indigenous Africans.
No,
so
I'm not.
What they are hold on, they are people who became of African nationality because they were born there.
Right.
Just like I, as a Black American, am not the true American. If I ask you who was the true Americans for, who would you say?
We know that the native Indians.
So those are the true Americans. Everybody after that is either someone that came against their will, or someone that came, as a pioneer, as they call it.
Yeah, I get that. But did you see the video? The video of the white guy?
When you speak, wait, I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it, but you have two pictures up there.
Okay. Sorry, I should say, did you hear what he said? So
yeah, I heard it.
He talked about ancestry. He accepts that. We accept that. We're talking about who is truly, like today, present day, what we know to being an African. So he's in a country where, we can say they're European, right? But this man is truly an African because he speaks 3 different languages. He speaks the other languages. And when a true African, when you go to African countries, you are able to speak the languages of that country, at least a couple of them.
Now, languages can be learned, right? Languages can be forgotten as well. But your DNA stays forever. I don't come from the school of you can't follow the white man's biology or science, because these same people who look at the 5-day forecast, which is the white man's meteorology, they believe in that. So you got to pretty much take all science. Science is science. Take the race out of it. So when you tell that, a Black American whose ancestry and DNA goes directly back to West and Central Africa is less African than a person who's recently came there and put Africans under duress and happened to be born there through their, I would call it pioneering ways, is more African than someone who has high percentages of African descent, has the phenotype, maintains some of the cultural similarities with the continent. I don't think it's genuine, because these white people that go down there and learn the languages, they learn it only to do business.
Yeah,
but they don't speak it as well, and they keep their own cultures. They go to their own churches. Hold on, brother. It's your show. I'm gonna give it back to you. They go to their own churches. They speak their own taal, which is called Afrikaner, and I can understand it because I speak Dutch. It's like hood Dutch, basically. And not only did they not come, they did come back and forth, because where I am, one of my co-workers, she moved to South Africa way back in the day. His great-grandmother did, and they came back and forth. So they never really lost a connection to their homeland, but they were never, ever real Africans, original Africans.
Okay. So, you know about the Amish people, right? In America.
Yep. Pennsylvania, Dutch country.
Okay. So the Amish people, they keep a close-knit, they're away from mainstream, culture. They keep within themselves. They have their own culture. So would you consider them Americans?
Yes, I would.
You would. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you?
Well, I consider them Americans, not Native Americans. So when we speak about Africa, we have to say, are you including people that have moved to Africa from other places? Because if that's the case, then you have to include Indonesians, you have to include Hindustanis, you have to include Chinese, everyone as an African.
And
if an African is everyone, then an African is nobody.
But let's say this. A Boer is not the same as a recent Chinese migrant to South Africa. It's not the same. Their histories are not even the same. These people physically, they fought and conquered that land. They fought and conquered that land. So it belongs to them for a long time. They took it from the Africans, but the Africans came and fought and took the land back, and they continue to take it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But now,
Right.
now,
So
they've been.
at that point, if I fight you and I rob you of your
But
land because I
it's a
caught you,
war. I'm
hold on,
just
hold
saying,
on.
it's
Wait,
a war.
I got you, but I just want to put something to you, brother.
Yeah.
If I take your land, am I the rightful owner of that land, or am I a thief?
If you're able to keep it, it's yours.
So what you're doing right now is you're justifying the stealing of land by
No.
Europeans, and then say that they can now call themselves Africans.
No, I'm
when
not-
They came there at the behest of European, the VOC out of Holland, to basically just rape Africa. So what? I don't want to put words in your mouth, brother, but it seems like
Well, let me say
you're
that-
basically saying it's okay because they had better weaponry.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, that was right or condoning it, but I'm just speaking as far as what actually happened and what is real, whether I like it or not. I'm just speaking of what has happened. When these Boers came, it's almost been almost 500 years ago.
Yeah.
They are still there. So that's what the reality is. It became their land. They were able to stay and impose their will on the people, whether the people liked it or not. So that's what has been the reality. So that's what I'm speaking of. Like, I'm not giving my opinion.
By that logic, right? Let's say, because in these YouTube streets, it's popular to call Black Americans land grabbers and stuff, right? Let's say that that's the reality. Black Americans or diasporans go to Africa and start taking land, right? If they can hold that land because they have superior military power, would you then turn around and call them proper Africans?
Oh, they
just
did
because they took the land.
Well, they did it. It was the colonial institution helped that
American
happened.
colonization
That happened in Liberia. Already that has happened before. But
Now was there tension based on where these people came from America, with the locals?
sorry, say that again.
Was there tension with these agents from the American recolonization or American colonization society and the locals that were already there? Was there tension?
Oh yeah, because first of all, what I'm saying is, right. I think you're I'm not giving my opinion. I'm speaking of what is. You see what I'm saying? Like, what is? Because I can see clearly that in South Africa, in their parliaments, I've watched their parliaments, I've watched politicians, they have white representatives. I watched the Olympics, they have white representatives. They have, their teams, they have white representatives. So how can we then turn around, like, if they are representing South Africa and South Africa is in Africa, how are they not Africans?
They're not Africans because they are not original Africans. What they are invaders. Okay? And when you say a white guy is more African than a Black American who's mostly made up of African DNA but has different culture, that's why I said we have to separate the geographical, the cultural, and the biological. So if you're putting more,
but we have to Eddie Murphy and Barack Obama.
To be technical, right? To be technical.
No, I don't want technical. I want straight answer, because see, we can play with words, but I want.
Let's go by what the South African Constitution says.
Okay, good.
Let's go by that. Do you have that before you? Do you have that?
I don't. I don't have that.
I believe as Africans, right? Because why I say to be technical, South Africa is a complex situation. We all agree to that, right?
Right.
Okay, so I don't want to give you a straight up answer, right? Because then we're going to open the door to another situation, right?
No, I just want you to answer my question.
Okay. He cannot be more African than Phil and those people. He cannot.
And why is that?
He doesn't have that lineage.
Are Egyptians, Moroccans, are they Africans?
To me, they're not.
No, I'm talking about reality.
In reality,
Egypt,
they're not.
really? Can they?
They just live on the continent. They're not
Hold on.
African.
Are those countries? Are they part of the OAU?
That's where we come to the technicality.
No,
They are
hold
part
on.
of that.
Okay, are they? Do they? The OAU, the OAU, who the people that formed it, were not Africans part of it?
Yes.
Did not Africans go through the same thing that we went through, colonialism? Were we colonized by the same groups of people?
They don't regard themselves as Africans, to be honest with you.
No,
They
no,
don't share-
but that's not. But St. James, that's not real, because guess what? They play in the African Cup of Nations. Anything that's Africa, that's what they
This
are
is
part
the
of.
technicality I was trying to talk to
No,
you about. We're trying to portray the continent as one. So everybody's playing to that.
But how is that going to
Most
happen?
people they don't see themselves as Africans.
No.
My
St.
people
James.
have been to Morocco. They have been to Morocco, Algeria, and where else?
Okay, St. James. I'm trying
They
to.
don't see themselves. They don't see themselves as Africans, man.
Okay,
Talk to
that's
them,
fine.
man.
I get that. But hold on. Let me bring somebody else in here for a second, okay? Okay, let's see here. We have Supergirl. Supergirl, unmute yourself. Are you there, Supergirl? Let's see. Supergirl, you gotta unmute yourself.
Mute myself.
Oh, can
hear
you?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Supergirl. Where are you from?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for your work. I think this is a very interesting subject, Afrodamus, because me personally, I am first generation born and raised in America. My parents are immigrants from Egypt, and so.
Hold on. Wait.
Yes.
Oh, so your parents are from Egypt.
Yes.
And this is very interesting. I'm glad you called in, because this is going to be interesting. And you're in America?
Yes.
You
Born
consider
and raised
you-
in America.
All right, keep going.
And I am very interested in the subject because, to be honest, there was a time in my life as a teenager where I questioned my own identity. I wasn't sure what to call myself. Am I Egyptian? Am I American? Am I Egyptian American? And over recent years, I've determined that the country of Egypt is on the continent of Africa, and therefore I'm African. However, when I took the U.S. Census recently, they called me Caucasian.
Yes,
So
but
I'm confused.
well, did you see there was an Egyptian man that sued the US government for referring to him as a Caucasian? So do you see yourself as Caucasian or African?
I personally do not see myself as Caucasian. I would consider myself more African, but that's why I'm curious to take your test.
All right. Okay. So let's see. Supergirl. So where is your father from?
My dad is from Egypt.
Your dad is from Egypt. What about your mother?
My mom is also from Egypt.
And so they are both Egyptians, straight from Egypt. No chaser.
You got it. Born
And they
raised
consider
here.
themselves Egyptians.
Yes,
You speak the language.
correct.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
All right, good. So, do your parents, because St. James was just saying that the North Africans do not consider themselves African. Now that we have you here on the line, your parents that are straight from Egypt, do they, because you're saying you're African, so there's no doubt in my mind that your parents consider, what do they consider themselves? I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I would say they would also call themselves African, but I've heard it displayed both ways within our family.
Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you.
Wait, St. James, let her finish. Let her finish. We're learning here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, I've heard it displayed both ways in my family, to be honest. But I think my parents would say they're African.
Okay. So how would you, like so far what you've heard, especially in what I've played, did you see the video of the white South African guy that I played? Did you hear it?
Yeah, it's insanity to hear Phil's rendition of it, and then very interesting to see your take on it as well. It's laughable, really. It's laughable, kind of Phil's take on it. So
if people, for instance, let's say a black American says to you or your parent that, oh, because you guys, your skin is in dark, you guys are not Africans. How would your parents, how would they respond to that? Are they gonna laugh, or are they gonna be upset to try to defend themselves against that?
It's ridiculous, because when did it become so much about skin color? That's what I don't understand. So.
Thank you, Supergirl. St. James. St. James, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, St. James, you brought a point that's interesting, and we so happen to have somebody from the northern parts of Africa, and she's not dark skinned, she's white Egyptian, and she considers herself an African despite being born in America, but her parents are from Egypt, and we all know Egypt is in Africa. Do you consider Egyptians as Africans?
Afrodamus, I'm going to say this to you, right? Anybody can claim to be an African, a proud Africans. I have been around people from Morocco, like I said, people from Tunisia, Algeria. If you go to France, you will see these people. When we talk about the black side of Africa and the north side of Africa, you can see a difference, a distinct difference. The way we claim Africa, the way we talk about Africa, and the way they talk about the motherland is different. It's two different stories.
No.
Let me finish. Let me get to my point.
St. James, I just want us to. The reason is, right, you are reverting to what someone is saying versus what is reality. We cannot uproot those.
Reality, they are on the continent. So to go from that, we cannot have a debate. If you're telling me because Tunisia or Morocco is on the African continent, therefore they are African, end of the debate. So if this is what we do, this is end of the debate.
St. James.
I am okay. Go ahead.
St. James. Okay.
Go ahead.
You've raised a point here, right? Okay. So let's look at because I'm glad this is about South Africa. Okay. During the apartheid, which region, which countries they didn't only sing and dance or did lip service. What region of Africans were putting their money in, and not only talking, but they put their money and were willing to take military action because they feel like their fellow Africans are being oppressed. Which country was trying to do that? Who was South Africa's biggest supporter?
Okay, I can even tell you Burkina Faso was one of the biggest supporters. But many South Africans don't know about that.
So you think South Africa? Wait.
Let me finish. We had a president from West Africa who was advocating for South Africa in the Western world.
They all were doing that, but I'm saying
those people you said that gave money, I would love for you to give me show me a video.
Okay. All right.
Them advocating for South Africa.
Well,
and
I don't
show you the videos of the blacks in Africa advocating for South Africans in the Western world.
Okay,
it's
wait.
Different story.
Well, that's why I said
giving money can be different than somebody speaking up.
Okay.
On the
name.
stage.
Wait, St. James. Name one African country that supported this South Africa Mandela, his liberation, more than Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. He's Arab.
By what?
Nigeria.
By money? By
Nigeria.
what?
No, that's not true. Go look at how much beef Muammar Gaddafi. Go look. This is written.
Nigeria, bro. Nigeria supported them.
Yes, they did, dude. Nigeria. I'm saying, go look up. Even Mandela himself talked about Muammar Gaddafi's support. He himself.
That, right?
No, but okay. Wait.
Even closer. You didn't. When I gave you the name of these North African country, did I even talk about Libya? Did you hear me mention Libya?
So what are you basing it off of? If Libya is related to these people, but now you're saying, okay, Libya are accepted as Africans, but the people they are closely related to the lookalike, those people are not African. I think you're moving the goalpost here.
Gaddafi was not even on the same boat with all these countries I just mentioned. He was even closer. By the time he was getting killed, he left those people alone.
So did the Algerians help South Africa?
I don't have no data to say that they did not or they did. I don't have no data.
You might want to research this.
Most of the countries in Africa help South Africa. I can guarantee you that. If Algeria is part of that, so
okay, let me throw this on the table also. Do you think if someone is so rich, like an African is so rich, right? And they decide to use their money to set up a satellite for Africa, just to make the phone calls cheaper, they put most of their money together, they came up with that idea. Is that person, would you consider that person an African? More African?
Are you talking about Libya as it relates to Gaddafi, or
yes?
Are you talking about
because now you are, I can tell you were going by skin color. You say anyone can call themselves African, but now I'm telling you,
I am talking about the love of Africa, or those people who.
But how can you measure? How can you measure? How can
the badge of honor? A lot of North Africans do not have that.
St. James.
They don't see themselves as African. When we're talking about Sudan, and we're talking about all these like Sahelin country, the Arab, they don't
hold on,
care
St. James. You and I would agree that Gambia, Nigeria, Senegal, those countries, right? It doesn't get any Africa than that, right?
Right.
Okay, do you know how many people I've met from those countries who deny being from Africa? They talk bad about Africa. They are from there darker than me. So does that take away their African card? They talk bad about Africa. They don't love Africa. It's clear. They make it clear.
They're doing it because they're poor. The government.
But no. Okay, so why?
When somebody is in a different situation, but is still not proud of who they are, it's kind of different.
Okay, so you see what you just did there, St. James? You see what you just did there? So you want to give these blacks a benefit of the doubt, but are not African. That you met maybe a couple, in your opinion, they don't love Africa. But I just gave you, I didn't even think it. These people, they make it clear. They lie about, they're not even from Africa. I've seen people who are from Gambia. I've seen people ask them in front of me. And they would lie and say they're from Baltimore. These people talk bad about Gambia. I'm not talking about just highlighting the problems. I'm talking about they hate the place, genuinely. I've met Nigerians. Wait.
No money to be made. That's why they're talking.
Wait. Okay.
Let me get in. Let me
finish. Let me finish. I've met people like that. Okay? It's not just they're just talking about, our economy is this way. We want to, this is the problem and going against the government. No. They genuinely hate the place. They don't even want to tell people they're from there. So do those people lose their card too?
They could.
Okay. Nagmizi, jump in.
Yes, brother. Thank you for bringing me back. So let's start in North Africa. My brother St. James was 100% right. North Africans do not classify themselves as Africans. If I saw you in the street and I'm saying, hey, where you from? You would tell me what? West Africa, right?
Right.
Okay. Why? Because outside of Africa, Africans say they're African. In Africa, they say they're from the country. In the country, they say they're from what tribe.
Right.
Now, when you take North Africans, they will say, I'm Moroccan, I'm Egyptian, I'm Tunisian, I'm Algerian. They never, ever, ever say that they are African first. And when that young woman, Supergirl, came on, she said, I had an identity crisis. The census said I was white. I know I'm American or Egyptian. So her crisis was between being Caucasian, American, or Egyptian. And now recently she's come to including Africa in there. So now the whole thing is, let's talk about Gaddafi real quick. Gaddafi became a Pan-African after his Pan-Arabism was rejected. So Africa was a second thought. And what he did was what most colonizers do, is throw, trinkets at Africans, right? So when he did that, he started getting the favor of African leaders. But now, when we talk about Libya, we can't just talk about Gaddafi. Gaddafi was a friend of Africa, although he was no black African. Now, when he was killed, what did they do to the Tuareg in Libya? The black Libyans, what did they do to them? You don't know?
I'll
help you out.
Are you them. Okay? So
they massacred them.
Okay, hold on. But you see, I lived in Sierra Leone, right? As a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed civil war. The rebels would come in. They would massacre people, and this is the same skin color people, right?
Right.
So hate is hate. When you kill somebody, it doesn't matter. Like, people just use this, other factors to say this is what it is, but it's either right or wrong. Hate is hate.
Now it's wrong. 100% wrong.
Yeah, hate is hate.
Hold on. So the Ecomog soldiers that were mostly Nigerians and Ghanaians that was committing atrocities. That is wrong. It wasn't racialized though. The massacre.
But what I'm saying, what difference does it make?
Brother,
kill is kill.
Please. Right. Killing is killing. You're right. Yeah. But this is the thing. These people were friends of Gaddafi, and Gaddafi was friends of them. But soon as he was out, soon as their gatekeeper was gone, then kicked in the racialized violence against the Tuareg, the Sahelians that had more of an African or black African phenotype.
I think. Okay, I know what you're saying here. Gaddafi, right? Gaddafi had an academy, military academy, right? Where he trains rebels and he unleashes them on, he supports them to start wars in their native countries. Charles Taylor was trained there in Mataba, okay? Paul Kagame that you're seeing, that's where he was trained. Paul Kagame did not become come to power, by being voted in. Paul Kagame, he marched, he took Rwanda by the barrel of a gun. He came from Libya. We even in Gambia, we had dissidents who were trained in Libya, eventually fought in Liberian wars, and then they came and waged their war. They tried to wage something in Gambia. You see what I'm saying? So is it possible that the people that Gaddafi is bringing people from sub-Saharan Africa to train them to get their loyalty to defend him, and now there is group of people that are toppling Gaddafi, and these black Africans are fighting on Gaddafi's side, and his opponent are fighting these people and kill them. How can that be racialized? That is war.
Oh,
that's
not what I'm talking about, brother. I'm speaking specifically about the tribes surrounding the area in the Tuareg region. They
didn't because Gaddafi is a Tuareg himself. You know that, right? His people are loyal to him. But he's a Tuareg. It's not about race.
Can I finish, please?
It's not about race.
I'm gonna make it racial for you right now, and not to play
the
victim card.
But that's not realistic, though. We have to base
hold on, brother. Can I finish? Can you hear me before you say it's not realistic? One thing you know about me, I don't say nothing that I don't know, right? So look, if you look at North Africa and you look at what happens to your brothers in Africa that have to go through the back route to try to get to Spain, what happens to them in Morocco, what happens to them in Libya, what happens to them in Egypt. We even talk about Egypt, okay?
I can tell you what happens to... I can tell you... Hold on. I can tell you what happens to them in Niger, Nigeria, Senegal. I can tell you the same thing.
And I'll tell you the difference, and I'll break down the difference. The difference up there, it's racialized violence in those Berber, Amazi Berber, and Arab-like countries, desert Arab countries. In the black countries, it can be ethnic, it can be socio-economic. They're not doing it because they're black. When they go up north, past the Sahel, in the Sahara, past the Sahara, then it becomes racialized.
So hold on, Nagmizi. You don't think?
Let me just make my point. Let me make my point, please, brother.
Okay, I'll let you.
Anwar
1
Sadat.
second. Hold on.
Anwar Sadat. You know who Anwar Sadat was?
Nagmizi, let me answer this before you go. I'll let you. Okay, Nagmizi,
yes,
are you telling me if somebody killed a man or does something to him, he's the guy that's perpetrating it, he's of different race, right? He kills a man, another man, he kills the man, but he did, like an Arab kills somebody. A Ghanaian kills the same person, black, right? What difference does it make?
I think it's worse when the black guy kills another black guy, honestly.
Kill is kill. Nagmizi,
you're asking me to put levels on it.
So
I can't say.
So what's why is that worst? The guy is dead.
It's worse. Yeah, he's totally dead, right? But for me, it's worse. And look, I look at things through the racial eyes of America because of my upbringing. So you can't separate me from my experience, right? So this is how I look at it. Africans tend to look at things differently, which is a lot of times why we have, which is a lot of times why we have clashes. But, what y'all like to say, especially Africans, is like, oh, you never talk about white people. You talk about white people, but you don't talk about black on black crime. And I've heard you speak on black crime.
I have.
When I speak on black crime in Africa, then you're trying to say that it's the same as white on black crime or Arab on black crime.
Crime is crime.
Right. And we agree with that. Yeah. But I think it's worse when I see a black man killing another black man. That's just me personally. But look, back to the original topic, okay? Is that white man who has recent ancestry, who has recent culture, more African, so to speak, than an African American? The way you're going to have to break it down, if you're talking biologically, hell no. Any black American, even including Beyonce, would make a strong case that she's more African than he is.
Beyonce, there's no way Beyonce is more African than that boy.
Well, hold on. From a nationality standpoint, that guy wins, right? Because he has a South African passport, he was born there, and things of that nature. But watch how you tried to give the Egyptian woman a caveat and an out when she wasn't born. Your African test was based on where you were born, where your parents were born. She told you she didn't identify as an African in the beginning, and now she had some sort of thing, but you never gave whether she was an African or not. So do you think that she is an African?
Oh no, she's an American. She said that. She's an American.
Okay, all right.
She's
Cool.
she's
So,
she's an American, but of African descent. Her parents are from Egypt. So, for example,
So you know what you got to do? We got to separate Black Africa from Arab Africa, because
no. Hold on.
Google this.
Hold on.
Google
Like
this.
Mizzy. Give me 1 second. Cause
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything in here. Give me 1 second, okay? Let me get this in. Okay. You've said several things here. Are you familiar with the Ghanaian? Are you familiar with the story, the Ghanaians who were embarking on the back route and they made it to Gambia? Over 50 of them were gunned down. Are you familiar with that story?
Yes, that was under Yahya Jammeh, and they had drifted, according to him, into Gambian waters, and they were slaughtered.
Okay, so
Yes.
let me give. Okay, so there are tons of Africans, including Gambians, that go embark on that back route, right? Yeah, it's not always gonna be pleasant. These people are embarking on an illegal route, so you're not gonna be welcomed with open arms. Can you name an equivalent of these Arab countries lining up 50 Black Africans and gunning them down? Show me the equivalence, and then go. Those people, their family. Do you think their loved ones are less dead because an African did it or somebody else did it? Like, does it even matter who killed them?
Well, look, I think it's worse that Jammeh had his people did that. Whether he had knowledge of it, that's debatable. Depends on what side of the fence you're on. But can I give you off the top of my head recently where Arabs have done that to blacks in that number, a slaughter like that? I can't, but I can definitely, and I'm just going to keep it like that. I can't.
Okay, so
I into some bullshit.
So I know. Where you're going with it. Like, you're basing it off of race, right? But you notice with Phil. With Phil, it always, there's no way you could describe a black person in America without the qualifier at the end, American.
What do you mean?
Like, even if black Americans are going with African, right? They have to add American at the end, right?
I mean, I do that for myself, so
I
speak for myself, and I agree with you for myself.
But that's what, see, I'm going by what is real and what is official. Okay, Egypt is in Africa, you believe that, right?
Well, Egypt is on the continent of Africa, yes.
So do you think Supergirl being born and raised in America, and her parents are from Egypt, do you think she is qualified to have citizenship in Egypt?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know what their laws are, but I would assume so.
Okay.
I don't know what their laws are.
Okay. So that means she's more African than Beyonce, Phil, Eddie Murphy, and all these people.
Now, you're basing it
Hold
on. I know what you're basing it on. You're basing it on current immigration law. Now, we have to separate immigration
but that's what's present.
Lineage. Do you know?
Okay, let's go by lineage.
Africans.
Let's go by lineage.
Yes.
Let's go by lineage.
Yes.
Okay, she is African by lineage. You do realize that, right?
She is Egyptian by lineage.
No, she is African by lineage. She just happened. The country that her people hail from is Egypt. You do know, like, about who Muhammad, what's his name? Gamal Abdel Nasser is, right?
Abdel Nasser, yes. That was Anwar Sadat's little black dog. That's who he was.
I mean, you could call him.
Right or wrong?
I don't know anything, but I'm just going by. I'm talking about facts here. Like, if you're African, these are people. What I'm saying, these people they are not dark-skinned Africans, but they put a lot more skin in this game. Their history is Africa. They fought for the liberation of their territory. Let's say a black American saying they're African. Yeah. Let's say they say they're African. What territory can they go to say they are liberating that territory and they would be seen as African? Name one.
Well, now you're conflating two, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. If you want to deal with the first, which is what part of Africa have Black Americans fought on the behalf
no.
of,
I said where they can go to, because this Boa guy, that the guy is saying he's not African. Okay, like Supergirl, right? Supergirl can go to Africa right now. She can go to an African country, her country, Egypt, and find her relatives, close relatives that, you know, she speaks the language, she's part of the culture. You know, she would just blend in, right? Okay. A black person, yeah, they're gonna look at you. Your skin color would blend you in, but culturally, they're not gonna fit in. It's gonna take a while.
So that's why we have to separate culture from phenotype.
But we cannot. But you cannot separate these two.
You can. You absolutely have
Well,
to, because
okay,
the question
so
that I have to ask you is this. What as far as Africa, because now you're sounding like a Pan-African, and I know you're not. You know that Africa ain't the same. Y'all ain't the same people, correct or incorrect?
That's correct.
All right. So now check this out. Who has more in common? Me as a Black American, and you as a Senegalese, or you?
Oh no, I'm Gambian.
Oh, Gambian. I'm sorry, brother. You went to Sierra Leone, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're a Gambian.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have any any history going back to Gambia, but as a descendant of West Africans, now that and now a Black American, who has more in common? You and I, or you and Supergirl?
Well, I don't know you like that. I don't base things on skin color,
brother.
No,
I don't even try that shit.
No, bro. I mean, hold on. I'm being honest. Like, do you know? I know tons of. I know a lot of people from even Gambia, African countries, black people. I have nothing in common with them. I don't. You see what I'm saying? Beyond this, past the skin color, we don't have anything else in common. You know, I've met other black people, and I've met white people, I've met Chinese, other people that I have a lot in common with them. It's the thought process. It's about the thought process. It's not about the skin color. Like, I'm speaking from somebody who was born and raised in an African society. I look at things for what they are. Like in America, black person can sensationalize what is going on in Africa. It would pass. But if I'm sleeping in my house as a kid in Sierra Leone, early in the morning, the only thing I hear is gun sounds, rebels running you out of your town. Do you think, and I'm not seeing any white person doing this, why do you think I honestly care about, if, what the perpetrator looks like? I just don't want to be hurt by anybody, period. So we cannot base it off of that. I'm just going by what is real. In South Africa, according to what this man said, he gave his reasons, and his reasons, we cannot discount it. Right now, you call yourself an American. You're born and raised in America. Okay, imagine I'm like, but you're not American. Oh, I tell you, I was like, I don't, says who? I could care less. Would you even want that conversation? You will be like, man, this guy is bugging. You'll be like, this guy is bugging.
I'd probably say you're bugging. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so the same thing. Phil, a white woman tells him, a white woman born and raised in Africa, born and raised in that country, she's been there for generations, right? She tells him she's more African than him. He gets offended. Like Bo is saying here, right? Bo is an American. He said he's Edos. He's black. I'm guessing he's black. So Bo said yes, he's of African descent, but he's American. I agree with that. And he believes that the Boer is more African than him. I agree with that too. Why is that so hard to accept?
No, well, that's Bo. Bo is Bo. And shout out to Bo if he's still here. But wait, hold on. Now let me ask you this. I plug Bo into any part of Black Africa, and I take that white guy, that Boer, in any part of Black Africa, they're gonna know that Bo. And you ask them who's more African without opening their mouth, they're gonna pick Bo.
Okay.
And he's a proud Black American.
Okay, good. You made a good point. I like this. I like this point. You take Bo, right?
Mm-hmm.
He looks way more African than the white man.
Yeah.
Than the white man. And they assume Bo is the African. They go to one of because in Africa you have areas where they have the tribes. Certain tribes are predominant there. But this white man, let's say he speaks Zulu. And Bo doesn't speak Zulu. They come up to him, they start speaking, their Zulu language, and Bo doesn't understand anything. The white man just drops and start speaking Zulu. You see what I'm saying? Who do you think they're gonna relate to? Bo is American.
Hold on, brother. Language is very powerful. That's why I say you have to learn the language if you're gonna start claiming that you're an African, especially if you're from the diaspora.
Right.
Because what they do is people they start swagger jacking African culture, saying I'm an Ashanti. They don't know how to order a goddamn cheeseburger in Twi, but they in Ashanti. You see what I'm saying? I push back against that. So from that standpoint, they'd have a better line of communication with the white guy because he speaks the language and communication is paramount. But we're talking about
we gotta
talk about original Africans,
and also
that white
customs.
Guy he's not
customs. In Africa,
don't know shit about Africa.
No, but what I'm saying is what I'm saying here, Nagmizi, right? I am not like everything. Any topics that I do here, I research it. I consider myself a cultural anthropologist. Okay,
Me too.
I gather information, I observe, and I get, I make sure I test this out. I have taken Black American to our African functions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are completely out of place. They don't understand anything about what is going on. And you have a white person who maybe they've done Peace Corps in Gambia. They've lived there. They understand the language, or even just they live there. They come in the community with the people because they know the customs, right? They know because in Africa customs are very, very important, and language also is very important. I'm guessing customs is important anywhere. You bring them there, they fit more right in. They know about the culture. They know the food. You can tell it's not fake. They are speaking the language. So the people are relating more to this individual. That's why I said the skin color doesn't matter. The skin color is minute because the moment the person speaks, they don't understand. They cannot relate to you. So they would know Bo is not African. They would know the white man is the African right away.
White people are not African, bro.
So do you think? Hold
on.
If a Boa, this man, no. If this white man goes to like a Zulu village. He goes to a Zulu village right now. This white man goes to a Zulu village. Let's say him and you, or with Phil, you guys go there and you both are talking about South Africa. You're talking the language. Who do you think they would consider to be the Africans? I'm talking in a... Are you serious right now? The white man. No, I said. Wait.
I'm gonna explain to you why, bro.
Wait. I'll let you talk. Did you hear my question?
Who would they? If the white guy was speaking, who would they consider Africans, right?
In a Zulu village, mind you,
right.
They know that the South Africa, these Zulus are part of this country, the Boa. Right?
Yeah.
So you guys go, and you're talking to the Zulu. You know what's gonna happen? Honestly, you guys are going to need the white man's service to translate for you. That right there, he just debunked and showed you that he is the real African.
No, he's not the real.
Oh no, he is.
Hold on, brother. Let me finish. Why you want to filibuster me? You've been in America too long. You learn how to filibuster very well. Let me finish,
Amazing.
brother. Look, just because you live amongst the people doesn't make you one of the people. It doesn't. Tarzan was not a monkey.
But
He
are
lived amongst the monkeys.
are you an American?
I'm a black American.
Okay. So
Now, when you ask me what a native of the original people of America, they are Indians. And if I ask you who the original people of Africa, you will say,
I consider myself an American.
of course you do. And you have the American flag. I don't see no Gambian flag behind you.
No,
Why
because
not?
okay, let me tell you. I'm gonna answer that. There's a difference.
sir.
There's a different. You know, have you heard of being born again? Christians, they would use the word being born again.
Yes, yes.
Meaning you
yeah.
have to return to the Father. We are all born through the mother, right? But as a man, eventually you have to go seek the Father, meaning the world is wide open to you.
Right.
So me as an individual, I didn't choose where to be born, right? But when I became of age, the greatest thing I was able to do is to be able to decide what citizenship, what country I can choose on my own,
Right.
you know, and become a citizen of that country. And in America, you can become that. Their laws allow it. So I didn't it wasn't handed to me. I didn't come as a refugee. You know, I paid for my American citizenship because they don't just hand it to you. You got to pay for it. And, you know, everything has to be clean, on point. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a choice.
So you like America?
I love America. I made that choice.
Okay, so now
hold on. I made that choice, right? But I vote I have the right to vote in America. Their laws allow all this, and I'm taking advantage of all those laws. So that makes me an American, considering how much taxes I have paid and continue to pay in America. You see what I'm saying? I am productive. I'm adding onto America. The white people, they love me out here. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not impressing anyone, but I have a mission. I focus on my mission. You see what I'm saying? So now we take it, you know, a South African, this man, he was born and raised in South Africa. They've been there for generations. I am the first generation here. I'm able to say I'm American, and legally I am. Why are you denying this boy his birthright?
No, shit. You said you funny as shit, man. That's why I rock with you, man. You're the only African whose panel I'm gonna join. And most of it's because you got that American flag behind you, but you're a likable guy.
Thank you.
I'm not denying his birthright, bro. What I'm saying is that those Zulus understand the complex history, the tumultuous history,
right?
How those Boers and Voortrekkers came. So let's not make it like it's all, you know, sweet between the Zulu and the Boer. There's a guy, a South African chief. His name was it had an N and then some Zulu in it, right? A Manzulu, something like that. And what happened? They invited them to negotiate for land. I believe the Zulus sold them some land. They invited this guy back and then they killed him. You know.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm just no. I don't know. No, I don't know the relationship between the Zulu and the Boers.
And the Boer.
I was just giving an example, you know, because he said he speaks, three different languages. So I'm guessing one of them is maybe Zulu or Shona or the other languages, right? But Zulu is most popular here in America. That's what we hear about. So that's why I was giving you that example. But I see.
Right, real quick, before I get off, because I got to go. Before I get off, and thank you for letting me rock so much. You and I, we got to do a one-on-one, bro. We got to do a one-on-one.
Yes.
All right, we'll figure out what it's going to be. But look, if Phil Scott broke into your house and was running out the back with all your electronics.
Yeah.
And the white guy ran out of the back with electronics. Different days, right?
Yeah.
When you filled out the police report and they said, well, where was the guy from? You never spoke to him. Would you say that the white guy was an African?
Well, I wouldn't assume also he's not.
Well, look, what
I wouldn't-
the guy look like? Where do you think the guy was from? What would you say?
I would say I don't know, because the guy could be American. You know, he could be American.
Yeah, you wouldn't call him an African, though, would you?
No, this is the. But you see,
Thank you, brother.
No, but if
Shukran.
wait. If I'm describing someone to the police, a black person, I'm not going to assume they're African. I'm not going to say African. I would just say it's a black person. I'm not going to say.
Okay, so now where does black come from? What
do you mean?
Oh, you know what I mean, brother.
Are you talking about the black American ideology or dark skin?
No, I'm not talking about one drop. I'm not talking about one drop. I'm talking about where did I get my beautiful brown skin and my beautiful
I'm guessing you got
hair? Where did I get it from?
I'm not sure. You can humor us with it.
You think I'm a Turtle Island Indian?
Hey, you and Dan Calloway and all the people of Turtle Island, you know, can
bro. Yo, all right, brother. I'll check you on the next one. Thank you for having me, and we'll do another time, right?
Hey,
Send me an email or something.
All right,
later.
Thank you for joining in, guys. You heard it here, man. It was a good conversation, and if you still, let's see, this guy, he's I think Montana. Let me see, how does he? Montuana. You're South African. Call into the show because you have a lot to say here in the comment section. Let me look at the comment section here and answer some of these questions. Let's see. Macy Green says, what? Macy Green doesn't believe that I'm an American. Sorry, Macy, you can't take that away from me. It's too late. You see the flag behind me? I already got the passport. You know, this is all years ago, by the way. So it's already too late. I don't play into the fantasy thing where, you know, people how they wish things to be. I go by exactly, you know, what is happening. But people, before I go, I'm going to play a quick video. It's about a guy named Charleston White. Oh, actually, we went over 2 hours. It's almost 3 hours. I'm going to have to end this show here, people. I'll bring that into the next show. Please make sure you share this video, like and subscribe. You don't have to like what I'm saying here, but let's just listen. At some point, we would come to a common consensus. And I'm not here to convince anyone. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but I would always base things on facts. I still stand my ground. The Boer guy, the South African man, the Afrikaner, he's got a point. Beyonce will not know what an African is if you walk him into Zululand. Did you see her documentary, her little documentary she was going to pull out? They are doing a skit. They are representing Africa. Africa like in the old ages. People wearing leather pants, you know, leopard leather pants. This is how they are representing Africa. It's a fantasy. Total fantasy. So that's why I believe it's an agenda. Some might think this guy is just saying things, you know, because maybe he doesn't like black people. Have you noticed, you know, a couple of people that came here, I'm sure they're going to feel like they I won the debate. I know, you know, Nagmizi, he doesn't feel that way because he wants to come back. And St. James, I hope you don't feel that way either. I want us to I'm okay with the differences. But like I said, the moment you take it to race and skin color, you're going to lose all logic. Simple. You're going to lose all logic. Because you cannot tell somebody who is born and raised in a country, they've been there for centuries. Not 1 century, 2 century. And I want to make this clear. Do I agree that the Boers, their ancestors, walked into South Africa, and they took over the land with the people? I mean, I was in there. I don't know what happened, but I read about it, and it wasn't pretty. We all know that. And even when apartheid was on, I was alive because apartheid ended in 1994. So before people start coming here getting emotional, saying, "Oh, Afridamus said, the Boers, it's a good thing that the Boers, invaded and took South Africa." That's not what I'm saying. But we have to base things on facts. The Boers are there. We cannot just sit or even as much as you want it or Phil want it or whoever want it, you cannot just snap them out of existence. That's not how it works. This is why I'm sticking with what is real. Because if you start walking around South Africa, you would be the one asking that white man for direction, and you're the one that's going to need him to translate. Hell, I'm African. If I go there with him to some of these Zulu villages, myself, I'm going to need that man to translate because he speaks English and he speaks their language. I'm not going to take that away from him because you know why? I'm realistic. I don't base things on race. Let me see. Afridamus is a citizen of USA, necessarily not American. No, lift every voice. I don't think you understand this. If you are, how can I not be an American? My passport says I am an American. My flag behind me says I am an American. I was sworn in. I took the pledge of allegiance. I put my hand on my heart. Okay? So I am an American. Simple and straightforward. People can interpret it any kind of way. I'm actually the true African American. If you are a native Black American, your ancestors have been here for centuries, you shouldn't even be calling yourself an African American. You know they are trying to brainwash you so that you can think that you're really American. It was sad when I saw this black guy on these same streets of YouTube making video. This guy he's talking like he's lost his mind. He said he's Nigerian. He's got the flag. He said, I carry Nigeria on my back. He said he tattooed Nigeria on him. I get it. You're passionate. But our next time, what the topic is going to be is if Africa is so awesome to Black Americans, the ones that are claiming it, if they think Africa is so awesome, how about we set up a trade? I would make sure we set up this trade. Those of you that agree that Africa is so awesome, we would arrange for you to give up your citizenship in exchange for Africans that want to come to America. We're not going to be bringing in the Pookies and Rares of Africa. We're going to bring, the cream de la creme, the ones that can actually, do good in America, because we need skilled people to come to America. We want to continue this great nation, this party. I know most people are not going to like it, but I have skin in the game here, okay? So we're going to arrange that. The people that are willing, they said Africa is so awesome, you are going to exchange your citizenship with an African who he's got skills, he's going to be productive here in America. We would exchange your citizenship with them. So you give up yours, you move to Africa, they can come over here, and I would conduct those interviews because, like I said, the white people might not trust it because they know, okay, to find a lot of competent ones is going to be hard. That's why Trump was talking about bring people from Norway, and people were mad because he knows they're going to work, right? I mean, just because you see me working this hard, it doesn't mean this is every African. And I'm going to talk about that next. Next time I come in, I'm going to talk about that. The video I was going to play, I want you guys to go check it out. It's by a guy named Charleston White. Charleston White is a black guy. I mean, I like this guy because this guy is honest. He is honest. In fact, I'm going to stick around and just give you a snippet of him, and I'm going to tell you why I like the guy. Because he doesn't hold back. Watch.
16, please don't shoot.
Yo, what's the word? It's your boy 16. If you like the content on this channel, I want to ask you like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell for post notifications. Also, I got a website at www.16shotonvisuals.com. But that's enough of me talking. Let's get to what y'all came to see. So what was the situation? It was a clip you had said like fuck Africa and
yeah, I don't give a damn about no Africa. Nigga, Africa
that's Charleston White.
And came back over here and rescued one nigga since we left from Africa. Yeah, and Africans don't like us. Yeah, nigga, Africans don't fuck with us. They don't.
See, Charleston is wrong in that aspect. The Africans I know, they really like y'all. They just don't understand you and they're afraid of you. Some of the things you call culture, they are not with that stuff. And yeah, Charleston said not a single African came and got you. Come on. They can't get you. There was no way for them to get you back because they were the ones that sold you. There's bill of sale present here. So there's no way they could, come get you because they did the sales themselves. But let's hear what Charleston White has to say about Africans because he is way more honest than Phil. This man doesn't mince words. He doesn't look for your feelings. He is going to give it to you straight chaser.
Good. And they stink. Yeah, and they some stinky people. Yeah.
Oh man. I can't believe he said that. He said Africans stink. But it's not all Africans. Look, people, I'm going to be honest about things. Charleston White, this man just said something that is actually true. I run into a lot of people from, not all, but my African people in America, I have to let you know, the street is talking. They're talking bad about you. And they are being honest. Because some of you, when people run into you, you smell like the entire spice cabin. When you're cooking, you're not opening your doors. I don't know how small your apartment is. Like you would be miles away, we could smell jollof rice on you. How is that even possible? But, okay, jollof rice smells good. But some of you have been embarrassed because people are talking bad about you. And Charles White, I get it. He ran into maybe some guy who's from Africa, and I know some who, some of you, they smell really musty. You don't want to shower. In America, water is free. Shower, lotion, and use deodorant. I have been talking about this for years. I'm telling you, I've told people this in person. I told them, brush your teeth, keep your mouth clean, smell good. But they're like, oh, these American women they don't like us. No woman wants a stinky person. Now, for those of you that's known me for years, especially on Facebook, I've been talking about you guys to stop walking around smelling. I've been talking about people to start taking shower. Now, you got somebody like Justin White. He ain't lying. He is not lying. There's no reason for a grown man to be walking around smelling all musty. No reason. There's no reason for you to be walking around, your mouth is smelling like toilet. Have you ever talked to somebody, their breath stinks so bad, they cause you stomach ache? Can you believe that? I have run into that. And I have to say, to be honest, Charleston White, he is correct on this part. But it's not only Africans. I have seen black people too, especially some of you that are ghetto, walking around smelling like fried chicken and stuff, or smelling like burnt hair. What is wrong with you? The people are all up in their house, frying chicken, you know, cooking grits, you know. I mean, it's wild. And me as an individual, I'll tell you right now, I've had to explain myself, especially to black American women, when I say I'm African. They can't believe it. They're like, no way, you ain't no African. They're like, ooh, damn, he look good, he smell good, he talk right, he drive right. What's going on? No, you ain't no African. Because guess what? I take the time, I floss my teeth morning and night. Okay? I use my Sonic Care toothbrush. I brush my teeth, you know, and use mouthwash, you know, like you get that going, get that nice shower going, you know, lotion up, cocoa butter or coconut oil or whichever you into. Another thing I find is goat cheese lotion. You should check that out. Okay? But you have some of these people, I've seen some of you Africans, and I've known you, I've told you guys, every day you see the same person, you see this person wearing the same clothes, you know, for straight weeks. Like, are you kidding me? You live in America. You could just go to Goodwill, even if you don't want to spend your money, you want to be stingy, you want to be a hustler, I get it. But you can just go to Goodwill and grab stuff there. You can go to Ross, dress for less. Simple. Don't say I didn't give you the solution. I am giving you the solution here. This is why Charleston White is over here in this street dragging African people, man. Charleston, I know you speaking facts on this, but not all of us, bruh. It's not all of us. I mean, literally, you could see me. I mean, people, you could look at me on camera and tell that I'm not about walking around smelling like jollof rice or smelling like all those, you know, the Ethiopian spices. That's how I can tell if people are from Ethiopia. I smell the spices miles away. But you see, some people, the ones that are like this, they are going to be mad. And some Gambians, I would see them, they would smell like peanut butter soup from a mile away. There's no reason for you to smell like that. But the worst ones are the ones that are not showering. And you're driving around here in this Uber, you know, people are talking bad about you. I'm going online reading these messages. They're talking about these Africans stink. Now, you alone, you've given bad name to everyone. Please make sure you take showers. Please.
Niggas, fuck Africa. Yeah, they ain't our people. We niggas, slaves. The descendants of slaves. They would never call no nigga. The first group of Africans, only one generation. Now the first group came. They wasn't born into this shit. Me and your people was born into this, homie. They were born slaves. They birth certificates say nigga. They was born in Africa. They are not.
He's absolutely right. He is absolutely right. You know, that's what they used to call, you know, black people. You know, Charleston. Hey, look, Charleston White is not your regular everyday guy that people are gonna like, but I like Charleston White. Charleston White is my kind of guy, not Phil. People who are like, you know, all emotional about things. Charleston doesn't care if you like it or not. And I ran across this video. I was like, I have to bring this. So, you know, the brothers and sisters that are coming from Africa, and you know I don't use that word lightly, but the streets is talking, y'all. The streets is talking. They don't want to smell jollof rice on you. They want you to put it on the plate. They don't want to smell domoda on you. Okay? They want it on the plate. And they are requesting that you shower. That's not, you know, this, I mean, come on, it could have been worse. They could have been, Charleston White could have been saying, oh man, I hate these Africans. They're over here scamming and scheming. No, but he said, they stink. That's an easy fix. Shower, deodorant, and cologne, there's nothing that they cannot do. Yeah, you see, people even are saying that in the Ubers. That's what I'm saying. I go and read this Uber. I read these comments. I'm interested because I collect data, like I said. I consider myself an expert, a cultural anthropologist. I observe what is going on and I listen to what is being said and what I see. So before Charleston White even talked about this, I was talking about this, and the Africans, they come in the comment section. Oh, you are so rude. How can you talk about... Okay, if you're someone that showers, you don't have to be mad at me. When I saw this video, I wasn't mad because guess what? Not only myself did I confirm that I shower. I used to wonder why the black women, black American women, why when they find out I'm African, they cannot believe it. They get excited. They're like, ooh, he doesn't only look good. He smells right. They're like, you're a different African. They ain't lying about that. But a lot of you want to walk around here when people are talking to you. You want to pretend like you don't understand English so you don't have to have conversation. They're talking about you. You know you can speak English. Even if it's broken, just answer. Okay? You see? Now, even Macy Green. Macy Green is even confirming that here. People, I'll put this up so you guys can see that I'm not making it up. There, you see? Even Macy Green is talking about the Ubers smelling like jollof rice. She is over here telling y'all that the Uber smells like jollof rice. But this is an easy fix. Okay? It's an easy fix. Let's see. It's not about what you... Right. So let's hear what Charleston got to say.
Us. They know what tribe they come from. They had a language. Once they broke them from the language and we was born in these...
Okay. Did you guys hear the argument I was putting forth? And Charleston White is saying the same exact thing. Despite people saying you can go read the language. But you see, Charleston White knows what he is talking about. Not that I agree with everything he says, but in this aspect, he is right. I don't know what his experience has been, but he's got this one right.
We ain't no African. We ain't no Hebrew. We nigger. Bottom line, homie. And the word nigger is not a distasteful, it's not a shameful word. That was those people's name. Come here, nigga. Nigga, shut up.
Okay, so, Charleston White is saying this is what they used to call people, which is true. And even you hear this in rap songs or even on the street. I mean, I never get offended by that word. So he's right that history doesn't hit me. But there are some people that they would use that word like as an insult. But I don't listen to words. You can say that all day. It's not going to affect me. Like one time I had a guy. So I came up. I was saying something and they didn't like what I was saying. And the guy's like, oh, why don't you go back to Congo? And I was like, oh, no, I'm not from the Congo. I said, but I would love to. So I've always known, to me, the Congo is a nice place, right? But a black person was offended by that. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What is his perception of Congo? Why would anyone it was supposed to be a racial epithet. But for you to feel insulted, that means you think low of Congo. You are thinking Congo is something else. So you don't want, when someone says Congo to you, that means it's an insult. But I didn't see it that way. So just like, the N-word that he's using, either way, if somebody, I'm not going to just allow someone to call me that, but I'm not also going to fight anyone over that or argue with them over it. Simple as that. Yeah, if they say, call me that, I'll be like, thank you. More power to you. But let's continue.
Hang that nigga. Catch that nigga. It wasn't until Mark Twain wrote the book Huckleberry Finn that in America, a nigga got a name. His name was Nigga Jim. That's first.
He's right. I read that book by Mark Twain. But I wasn't quite sure if that's, I mean, I guess he's talking about in popular America at the time.
The other car had a name, Nigga Jim. This nigga didn't have no name. Come here, nigga. Nigga Toby. Nigga didn't have no name. We've heard, boy, look at this nigga. He heard that when he was born, and he heard that when he died.
See, like I said, some people, they get touchy about subjects like this, or people like Charleston White. But I like to allow people to tell their own story, their own experience. Just as I'm not going to allow anyone to tell my own story for me. Some people will be offended by what Charleston White is saying. But I know these are the type of black people that I know who they don't call themselves African because they are not Africans. They are proud of being black. And for some reason, these are the type of black people I usually get along with. I can guarantee you, I run into Charleston White, he's going to be like, I don't like them Africans. You know, they smell bad. But you all right with me. You all right with me. You shower, you dress nice. You talk, you know, you speak our language well. We'll get along just fine. And you could do the same thing. You know, because if you're walking around here, you know, in the city, you're no longer in Africa. You're walking around here. I see some of you, you know, you got dress shirt and dress pants and with flip-flops. With flip-flops. Like, what is going on? Like, you're no longer in Africa. You know, it's cold over here. No need to be wearing no flip-flops walking around or, you know, not even using a deodorant. The people are talking about you. And they're talking about, you know, what is going on in the Ubers. They said they're tired of the way the Ubers smell. I've been reading the comments online. And now Charleston White is saying this. So let's not be upset. I know I'm not, because I have been talking about this myself. Now, some of the things that Charleston White says, you know, I don't know about. I'm just going to listen just like you. Let's hear him together.
Nigga, that was his name. And we get mad when a white person call us a nigga. We should never be offended nor get upset when a white person say nigga. Well, that's honoring.
Some people are going to disagree with him, but that's the story of his life, and that's how he sees it. I mean, quite frankly, like, I'm going to be actually, like, when I found out, like, black people they get offended by whites calling them, if they call them that, I was actually surprised because the black people I was around at the time, that's all I hear. That's what they call each other. And I hear it in rap music, you know. I remember even like in Gambia, because in Gambia you could do personalized license plate. So I remember there was a guy, his personalized license plate say NIGGA1. He has several cars, NIGGA1, NIGGA2. Like the guy, he was wearing it as a badge of honor. He was the man. That's one thing about Gambia. There's no regulation. I even know somebody whose nickname is Hitler. Talk about freedom. There you're free to call yourself whatever. Let's hear more.
People, right? Normally the white person didn't call you a nigga if you did what he said. He called you boy. Hey boy. Only the person got called nigga was the rebellious boy. Didn't do what he said. He got mad at him. So it's a compliment when a white person gets mad and say, fuck you, nigga.
Charleston White, I've heard, no, you know, before I even see this, now I know why some of the people that made reaction videos to him, you know, totally losing it.
Your response would be, man, thank you, but I could never be as great as them people. We want to beat up the white boy for calling us great. Man, that word means great.
You guys heard it. So for those of you that are going around getting offended by the word great, Charleston White is not any wannabe American or whatever. He is really an American from the South. He understands his lineage. He's not calling himself a victim. And rightfully so. In the books that I read, when they used that word, it was a term of endearment. But also, I would disagree with Charleston White that sometimes it's used to degrade the man that was in bondage. That's also is true.
So they want to tell you, no, man, don't say that word. Erase it. We need to erase that word. Why we need to erase that word? It needs to be put on a building.
Why do you feel like it mean great though? Like I know you saying like.
Who told you it mean bad?
Because like.
Yeah, Matifi, you're right. There's Niger. It would be very interesting to find out how that name came about. Actually, you're right. I mean, this might be supporting Charleston White's position though, because I know that the Niger, the river Niger, there's a name for the river Niger in Mandinka because it runs through West Africa. It was called Bafing. That's what the locals call it, Bafing, meaning the Black River. So Charleston, you know what? Whoa, I just put the dots together. I think Charleston might be onto something here. People, Charleston might be onto something because Ba in Mandinka means river. Thing means black. So the meaning is the Black River. The river Niger, the locals, the name, the Mandinka word is Bafing. So Charleston White is making claims here that these names are connected to the black. So Charleston has got a point. Because even in the native language, there's black in it.
If in them times, these people was using this and they didn't respect us, they didn't look at us like as a person.
They still don't.
You know why even?
They still don't. And they hugging on dirt. You think they look at that boy as a person? That white man give him all that money? He don't look at him as no person.
That's what I'm saying. So how would you say like it's
because the word nigga, the dumb English white boy couldn't pronounce the word nigga, which means king. The Ethiopian word means king.
He's right. It's called negus. Negus. This is true. He's actually telling the truth here. You could read about this.
Nigeria, that's where the root word come from, Nigeria. They were supposed to change the name Nigeria. The Niger River, Niger, the white boy couldn't pronounce it. Come here, nigga. It wasn't no translator when he got that African over here. Wasn't no translator. Pick up that water, get that water. What do you say to him? I don't know. What do you say? It says nigga.
People. This guy he's hilarious. He's funny. He's not lying though. That much you could say. Because he's now spitting facts and now where this name came from around and now I'm putting two and two together. You see, this is why I am the true expert, an African expert, because I can even translate the names of these places for you. Just like someone just mentioned, Niger, the country of Niger. That's what that river runs across. So that means if they translated that word, Bafing, to the river Niger, that means they're saying the Black River. That's what they translated it to directly. That means Nigeria would be, Nigeria, the name is the Black Land. That's what it means.
Nigger, 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 get that water, nigger. He got him to respond to something that was close to Niger, nigga. So that's how the word got fucked up. We think it's a death. No, man, the word nigger don't mean ignorant and stupid. The white boy who was calling us ignorant and stupid couldn't speak our language and we couldn't understand him. So nah, homie, we ain't been taught right.
People, leave it in the comment section. I want to see your opinion on what he's saying. So make sure you leave your comments. Don't hold back.
Been taught right. The rich white boy didn't treat us bad. It was his overseer. The one in the house didn't really mistreat us. It was his overseer.
Which is.
He's right, because you got to remember, to own slaves back in the days here in America, it was like 1 or 2%, if even 2% of the population, the people with the money. They're the ones with the money. So, and to own slaves is expensive. Not anyone can just go and get one. So imagine nobody's gonna have a slave they spend money on and kill that slave or mistreat it because they want, the benefits from the slave. But with that being said, the slaves that rebel or revolt, they do go against those people, which is common sense. But he's got a point here.
Your supervisor on the job.
So you sound like the plantation owner?
Man, the supervisor ain't the owner. The CEO is the owner. How does the CEO act when he comes?
He's right. In the company, even in present day, in the company, the owner is much nicer. Myself here, I'm a company owner. The people I put in charge, manager, I bet you they put their foot on those people's neck harder. But when I come around, they smile with me because I'm smiling. I'm happy because I want them to be happy so they can have a safe, wonderful, work experience. You see? But for those of you that are going to come conflate this, I'm not comparing paid workers with bondaged slaves. I'm just speaking on his analogy here.
On the job, he shake hands with everybody. Everybody be happy to see that manager and that supervisor want to know why you late. Want to know why you and her talking. The CEO don't want to know that. He's enjoying the fruits of your labor.
He's absolutely correct. He's not lying at all. If you look at it around your jobs, think about your job. If your manager or your supervisor, they are usually the ones that give you a hard time because they think they are put in that position to harass you or quote unquote put you in your place. So that's what they are there for. So they would harass you. So you would see during slavery too, they have some overseer. They put him over the slaves. He is gonna try to, exercise his powers. Look, I can give you examples. Like I said, I used to be a corrections officer. There are corrections officers, right? Corrections officers that people, you're gonna say they are racist, but one thing I have learned is the people that you might say they are racist, no, they are usually just straight assholes. They are asshole to everyone. These people don't get along with people. They just are hateful. But they are now put in they have the badge. So you have little disagreement with them. Know that they're exercising power on you. But many people, especially black, they're like, oh man, this person is racist. No, the guy is just an asshole. He's an asshole to everyone. I've seen them. I've seen guys like white guys that you would straight up, you say they're racist. Know that I was in the inside, right? I work with these guys. The inmates, whether black or white, cannot challenge them. But I can challenge them. I know their mind. I know their mind. So we talk. I see their interaction with other white people. They do not like people, period. Like, you look at that Derek Chauvin, you know, the one that, killed George Floyd. Go watch that video and see that guy's face. I know everyone is saying it's race-based. No. Go look at the guy. Look at that video. It's not even race. The guy is just straight asshole. Even if George Floyd were white, if same scenario, and reacted the same way George Floyd reacted to him, he would have done the same thing. The same thing. Because I've seen this firsthand. So let me give you more.
He ain't got to come down there fucking with you about why you ain't produced nothing. It's the overseer, the supervisor, and the manager on the job. It's the overseer.
So, another question I have for you. You had spoke on, you said people call you a rap, but there ain't no proof. Like,
yeah.
Where that stem from, man?
Man, social media antics. Yeah.
Oh, that's African Fang. I'm glad to see how people met you on my channel and snack me around the definition of. Okay, thank you for coming, African Fang. What do you mean by? I'm glad. Are you jealous about that too? That people met is. So you want to tell me all these people that are watching me, they met me from your channel, and if they did, that's good. That means they like information they want to hear. But I welcome you too here. We got nothing here but love. Okay, that's what we're spreading. I mean, I know you got your own channel. I have my own channel too. So, thank you.
Like recent type shit?
Yeah. I went viral playing the rat. I'm the first nigga on social media to play the rat role, to tell on a nigga. Then Bubba Dub started playing the snitch character.
Matter of fact, I don't know.
Yeah, I went viral on World Star Hip Hop doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, I was just wanting to play the part. He was telling you his feelings about Africans. So maybe he didn't meet many cool Africans. He definitely did express that the ones he met, they didn't pass the smell test for him. He's made that very clear. So thank you, people. This brings us to the end of today's show. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. People that are coming in, make sure you enjoy this video. Share and subscribe. And I'm going to break this video into two so that, it doesn't have to be too long. So, make sure you share, and I'll see you guys again.
Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, telling you, yeah, the truth, You have to go back to the roots, go to the roots, Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!